Hello, everybody. I'm back. I've been feeling, hi, Arwen. Long time no see. I have been feeling a bit poorly lately. And I have a rule that I do not stream when I'm not feeling well because it comes across in my voice. And I struggle through the stream. So I prefer to just rest when I'm not okay. So today I am back in the saddle. Crochetter sent me a link to the new Wicked trailer, which is absolutely magnificent. I am beyond excited for the new movie. I cannot wait. I saw people in the comments of the trailer saying that they're going to go to the theater right now and they're going to get their seat, even though the movie opens in late November. They want to make sure that they have prime seating when the movie opens, and I can totally understand that. I am at a point now where I'm like, you know what? Hi, Judy. I am not going to get my cancer treatment. I'm not going to get the operation. I'm going to skip chemo. I'm going to go straight to the theater. I'm going to sit in that seat, and I'm going to wait until November 21st for the opening day. Fuck it. Fuck it. I've been told that my cancer is low grade. It's moving very slowly. So I'm just going to go get a prime seat. Anyway, I'm just joking, obviously. The movie looks beautiful. The music sounds great. I cannot wait. The flying monkeys look incredible. The animals look beautiful. And I'm just very excited. So I was talking to a friend yesterday whose family member has been getting some bad news health-wise. And we were commiserating. And I said, you know what? Just for you, I am going to do a lighthearted stream tomorrow. I'm going to find some fun, lighthearted topics, and I'm going to cover them so that we can get our minds off of our respective, tsuris. But before I get started with that, I just wanted to alert you guys to a situation that's been unfolding that you might not have been aware of. So the demented former Negative Nation member, AJ Lair, has been insisting in a very Nazi-like way for me to show her my Jew papers. AJ has become fixated on my Judaism, and she has done numerous live streams about me. She hopped on panel with Negz and myself, and I gave her an opportunity to ask all of her questions. And she was wrapping herself around the axle, winding her way around the axle. She cannot distinguish between Jews and Israelis. She doesn't understand what Zionism is. She doesn't know what the Talmud is versus the Tanakh and the Kabbalah. She doesn't know anything. And she is bound and determined to prove that not only am I not a Jew, I guess, but she has actually convinced herself that I am in some form, I am a demon in human form. Among the accusations that she made on Negz's panel were she interrogated me very closely about my Judaism. She refused to listen to anything that I had to say, refused to listen to any of my answers. She kept demanding to know what makes me a Jew. I answered over and over again. She rejected all of my answers. She claimed at one point that the internet is controlled by Israel. She claimed that the October 7th victims, or the people that we saw in those tapes, those videos that were filmed by the perpetrators, by the way, they were all crisis actors. And she started to express or unwind her own weird conspiracy theory about the Star of David, which, as you know, has 6 points to it. This is a woman who has accused me of practicing witchcraft. And now that I know that she was determined to, quote unquote, rescue Negz from me, that I was a danger to him, now I know what she was talking about. Now I'm beginning to get a better picture. The woman is so insane that she is convinced that I have somehow trapped Negz in some kind of a spell, and that he is literally under the control of a demon, a dibuk, a diabolical creature. And she hasn't stopped, by the way. So I'm going to use the beginning of this stream to do a little bit of education. First of all, I would like to play some of the clips from her stream last night, which were shared with me by somebody who watched it. Hang on.
Does being a fucking Jew what the fuck does being a fucking Jew
A fucking Jew.
fucking Jew, okay,
Yeah.
have to do with shit, bitch? This was one of my closest friends in this space.
Let's hear that again.
What the fuck does being a fucking Jew, okay, have to do with shit, bitch? This was one of my closest friends in this space.
Okay, a fucking Jew. That's me. AJ, I am not going to give you a break just because you were extremely impaired during that stream, just as you were extremely impaired during the stream when you were on panel with me and with Negz, just like you were extremely impaired when you were on the panel with Fresh Garbage. You know, it is not my fault that you seem to have some sort of a problem with alcohol, with pills, with both, with some other substance. The fact that you go on the internet in that shape, in that condition, is not my fault. And no, I am not going to show you my Jew papers. You might as well forget that. Let's listen to this lovely little clip.
Understand about DC. Zionist, atheist, Jew, Latina American. There we go. How? Oh, proud Zionist, though. Okay. So, Ari, I still don't understand what makes it an ethnicity unless it's like Israeli. Then totally understood. Got it. Clear as day.
AJ, you fucking moron. Israeli is a nationality. It is not an ethnicity. Israeli is a nationality. You can become Israeli. You can become Israeli by taking an oath of citizenship. It has nothing to do with ethnicity. There are people of multiple different ethnicities living in Israel, and they are Israeli. Just like not all Jews are Israeli, not all Israelis are Jews, and Israeli is not an ethnicity. Now, yeah, exactly. You see, there you go. Judaism is an ethnicity. And I'm not going to sit here and come up with some boring lecture about what constitutes an ethnicity and what doesn't, all right? I tried to explain to you the idea of Judaism as a race because that was something else you were pushing back on, and you were vehemently denying that Jews have ever been identified as a race. Well, let me show you something. Have you ever heard, AJ? Have you ever heard of the Nuremberg race laws? Well, let me educate you. In 1935, the Nazi regime announced 2 new laws related to race. The Reich Citizenship Law, the law for the protection of German blood and German honor. Okay. The Nazis enacted the Nuremberg laws because they wanted to put their ideas about race, not religion, not ethnicity, about race, into law. They believed in the false theory that the world is divided into distinct races that are not equally strong and valuable. The Nazis considered Germans to be members of the supposed superior Aryan race. They saw the so-called Aryan German race as the strongest and most valuable race of all. According to the Nazis, Jews were not Aryans. They thought Jews belonged to a separate race that was inferior to all other races. The Nazis believed that the presence of Jews in Germany threatened the German people. They believed they had to separate Jews from other Germans to protect and strengthen Germany. The Nuremberg laws were an important step towards achieving this goal. So you see, AJ, they were based on race, these laws. They had nothing to do with religious practice. They had nothing to do with keeping kosher or, going to the synagogue on Saturday or anything of that nature. They were race-based laws. And if you look up on Google something that you accuse me of lying about, which is that the Europeans have a different view of race than Americans do. The American view of race has to do with skin color. Okay? And Americans also have a difficult time distinguishing between race and ethnicity that are not the same thing. The Europeans have a different definition of race. And if you go on Google, you can look it up for yourself and you can see the difference in the European definition, which is why if a crime is committed, let's say, against a Muslim in a European country or against a Jew, it's called race hatred. Race hatred, not religious hatred, race hatred. So go and educate yourself. Now, here's the thing, AJ. I don't need to phone a friend or consult with Grok or call the ADL or consult with a rabbi to figure out what it is that you are trying to achieve. I know the name for what it is that you are doing. And one of the things that has been both, it's been both gratifying and terrifying about the way that societies have changed around the world since October 7th is the way so many masks have come off. And your mask has really come off in the past week or so. So, now that we all know exactly who and what you are, people can decide for themselves whether or not they want to continue engaging with you on your channel. But my assumption is if I get a clip of an AJ stream, because I don't watch her streams, I can't do it. I can't deal with the slurring and the insanity and the repetition and the crying and the raging and everything else. Every single person that I see in your stream, I will assume is backing up everything that you say. And as a result, I do not want those people in my community. And they will be automatically blocked if they try to chat in my chat. Because if you are condoning what she is doing and what she is saying about Jews, I mean, I know you don't give a shit about what she says about me. And I know that not a single larger creator is going to go after her. Nobody is going to challenge her on any of this. Because after all, she's only attacking me. It's not like I'm Frenchie. It's not like I share an audience with any of these assholes who went rushing to Frenchie's defense. And I don't have a large channel. And I don't have a lot of sway in any community. So they're not going to come and defend me. They're not going to criticize her. I know that. But the thing is, AJ, that what you said about me applies to more than just to me. It applies to Jews, full stop. And now is not the time. Now is not the time for anyone, even a drunk like AJ, who refuses to listen, to come at me sideways when we've got people being attacked in multiple American cities, when Jews are afraid all over the country, and indeed all over the world. I have run out of patience for this. I'm not here to be your mother. I'm not here to be your teacher. I'm not here to be your college professor. Google is a thing. You can look everything that I said up. But I'm telling you right now, and I don't often make a statement like this, if you support AJ, you are not welcome in my community. Period. And you will be blocked on site. So, I mean, I know that not a lot of them make their way over here, but I know they all watch me, so you can let the word go out. So, anyway, now that we have now that we've covered that unpleasant topic, let's get to the fun stuff, shall we? So, I have found some videos that I think that we are going to enjoy. And one of them involves my my comfort creators, if you will. Robert and James Welsh, who I absolutely adore. I absolutely adore these two. And if they're wonderful separately, they're even better together. Okay? They are an absolute joy to behold. So, and I just realized when I was watching the video earlier that there's another way to tell the difference between the two of them. It's not just that Robert has that slash in his eyebrow. It's also that James has those gauges in his ears. So that's the other way that you can tell them apart. But they are so cute. Robert and James Welsh are the only two YouTube creators I can think of who have been streaming for years or uploading content for years who have never once disappointed me. Never. They have never done or said anything that has been offensive, stupid, out of pocket, whatever. They are an absolute delight. And as an added bonus, they know what they're talking about. So I found their podcast channel. And they did a review of ugly interior design, which I got the biggest kick out of. And I know that I haven't done an interior design stream in a really, really long time. So I thought, why not get the Welsh twins to walk us through these truly shocking displays? All right, let's get them up. Okay, James is on the left, Robert is on the right, and they look even more alike now that Robert has lost all that weight. So let's continue.
Your shoulder. Hi, I'm James Welsh.
And I'm Robert Welsh.
And this is your weekly
Oh, they're
reminder.
so
We're not
cute.
the same person.
Inside and out.
Talking about inside and out,
Have you got inside your house?
I do have an inside to my house. Do you?
Yeah.
How long have you had that for?
Well, since I've lived in it.
And what do you think of
No.
the inside?
Tell me if you could do anything to a room in your house, no consequences, doesn't have to be practical, what would it be? How would you decorate?
I would have, instead of walls, I would just have netted curtain, like
No.
sheer curtain.
No.
Yeah. So, but you said no consequences.
Sorry,
so nothing
okay,
can
so
come
ghosts.
in.
Okay, no ghosts.
Yeah, so
okay,
like
okay.
no.
I was just worried about the ghosts.
But you would see outside, like my walls would be sheer curtain, and then the floor would just be plain. Like marble or concrete. No, concrete everything. Concrete furniture.
So these curtains around the edge, would they be blowing in what?
In just a little bit.
I've got one better. Imagine being their straight brother. Imagine being their heterosexual brother, the guy who they had on their podcast channel. I mean, imagine being the brother who's not the twin who grows up with these two, because these two are a lot, okay? These two are a lot, and they are so adorable, and I wish that we could all be best friends because they are the cutest.
Just a gust. What
We
about
heard
you?
yesterday. So oh God, I don't. Now you say it, I don't know.
But listen, the whole point about talking about the insides is that we are going to be judging awful interiors today.
Now listen,
Yay.
I mean, you may think, that's down to people's individual taste, but at the end of the day, people do have poor taste.
They
yeah,
do.
I think
They do.
at the end of the day, I think I can appreciate a concept or a theme or an idea, whether I like it or not, whether it's something I enjoy. But at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, when you think about it, ugly is ugly when it comes to certain design aesthetics.
Correct.
Like that belt that's coming back with the leather and the gold.
Oh,
Gladiator belts. Do you remember gladiator shoes?
I don't
Do you
remember
having to wait for
I
your
don't
friends
remember
to put on
those
their
belts.
gladiator
Oh my God! It's
sandals?
like, I'm sorry, my toe just went through the ankle part. Let me start again.
Let us know if any of these are your house.
Yeah, if they are, no.
Yeah, we'll take the video down.
If you are, you win a £50 IKEA voucher that you can only use in England.
Yeah, for the one down the road from us.
You have to figure out where that is.
Yeah.
Oh, some days you just want to peel off your skin.
Yeah, I get it.
Oh,
I get
no,
it. I
no,
don't
no,
like
no.
it, but I understand this.
No, for sure.
Okay, he says he doesn't like it, but he understands it. I neither like it, nor do I understand it. And when I first saw this screenshot, I thought it was AI. I said, this cannot be an actual closet. This cannot be an actual room in a real person's home. It is not possible. I mean, I've seen that lipstick thingy used as decor before. I have seen that. Not as the centerpiece of a table, okay? But I have seen that used as, like, you know, if the person's a big makeup enthusiast, I've seen those giant lipsticks before. But that purse couch, that is a first for me. And that handle drives me around the fucking bend. That would drive me crazy.
Sure. I understand having a wardrobe. This is obviously like more of a shoe wardrobe because of all the shoes.
Yeah,
Shoe boxes?
Shoed drobe.
Wait, but what are these?
Vases.
Well, this is probably one of the ugliest sofas I've ever seen.
It's
in my
hideous.
life.
It's awful.
Yeah,
No, go on.
It fits the room.
It fits a room, and if there's storage under there, even better. If they
bargain.
lift it up,
Hard disagree. It doesn't fit any room. Actually, no. Let me rephrase. It would fit a room inhabited by one of the drag queens on Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That would make sense. Like, if this was a prop from Priscilla, I would say, yeah, okay, I can see it. I can see it. But just a person, no, absolutely not. Hell no.
and can you imagine? Oh, my friends are staying around. I'll make up the handbag sofa for you.
You're in the wardrobe.
You're in the
today. People actually don't notice that me and Jace do have interior design qualifications.
Yes, I'm PGS
And
interiors.
I'm OAF.
Yeah.
And if there was other like bits of this fuchsia, this fuchsia pink in the background, maybe it would all tie in together. But that just looks like, oh, I found this on Amazon.
Excuse me. I think one of the main issues as well is that
It's shit.
the front, shit. But second of all,
Yeah.
the front is very, I'm a Barbie girl,
Yeah.
and then the back of it is very
I smoke
teenage
cigars.
boy.
Yeah.
Not quite cigars yet.
Oh, do you think? Even with a dark
maybe
brown?
a vape. I think it's a little bit industrial.
Like there's that open box with a vase coming out of it. No, it doesn't
I
look
don't
like
get it.
AI.
Yeah, there's too many things that.
There's nothing that's like not linking together.
Yeah.
Let's say, right, let's give ourselves a scale.
Of what?
A scale.
Of The Sims 1 to
Yeah, up
luxury.
Luxury.
Yeah.
Sims 1 obviously being the worst, even though it
worst.
probably was one of the best games ever.
Brown rug.
Up to
Blue curtains.
Blue curtains.
Yeah.
Like The Sims 1, you haven't used a cheat code. Up to
Does anybody in chat, do any of you in chat have twins in your family? Either, siblings, cousins, whatever, or do you have a friend who has twins in the house? And I ask this for a reason, because I remember years ago when I first discovered Twin Talk, and I found out that identical twins develop their own language when they're very, very young. And it's a language that only they understand, and their parents don't understand it, their other siblings, and they use it to communicate with one another, and they understand each other perfectly. This, to me, is a great, example of what grown-up twin talk looks like. I don't know what they're talking about, and I find it absolutely delightful to watch their interaction. Because it's them. I mean, come on.
10, you've used a cheat code. Rosebud. And Kaching.
Kaching.
No.
Kaching.
And there was another one too. Motherload.
Well, let's do Sims 1 and Kaching. Kaching's the highest.
Okay. I would give this a 3.
Oh, this system doesn't work. Let's just do 1 to 10.
1 to 10.
Yeah.
1's terrible, 10's
Ten's
like
good.
I'm gonna give it 3 because the idea's there. It's very cutesy. It's very legally blonde, but also it's not at all. 2 pieces are in fact cutesy.
I'm going to say 3 as well because I feel like they've wanted this. They've wanted this, but they've not quite been able to pull it off.
They're
or
like,
execute it.
okay,
Yeah.
My situation is, why have you taken a picture of this and been like, this is it?
Put a fluffy rug down, pink
Oh my
shift
God.
curtains.
Shift curtains. You have the rails.
Yeah.
You can fashion anything. Trust me, we've done it.
It's a very confusing room.
Maybe they
No, I'm sorry. There is absolutely nothing that you can do to improve the look of this room except for taking that hideous couch out of the room. The lipstick you can work with. All right, it's tacky, but it's been done. That couch, out of the question. And that weird, they're right about how weird and industrial the background is and how the couch does not fit with it. But no, the couch is a disaster. It must go.
They're just trying to sell it, and like, this is the only place we could keep it.
Remember when everyone was doing feng shui when we were younger?
Yeah.
And no one really knew what it was. They just kept putting...
I still don't put my window
do,
facing
actually.
the bed.
Oh,
Well,
no.
I don't put my bed facing the window. It's not
Or
up
a
to me where
mirror.
the window is.
Or a mirror.
Yeah.
That's
just
a ghost.
Yeah. So 3. We decided on.
3 out of 10,
Okay,
yeah.
congratulations, good for you.
Yeah. Can I be honest?
Yes.
I
Oh,
don't
boy.
hate this at
I don't
all.
hate it either, but I don't hate it if it was a restaurant. If that was a restaurant and they were like, come in, partners, and it was a theme, they're like, welcome to the mountains. Mountains. Come in.
It's very Lord of the Rings, isn't it? It's something that you would find in the Shire. Imagine having a giant, bulky fireplace like that in a mid-century modern home. And I have to ask myself, how many of these images are AI and how many of them are real? Because why would you put this ghastly, bulky, stone mess in the middle of a living room? First of all, why is the fireplace there at all? I don't understand. Like, why is it in that location? And then why? It's a lot, okay? It's a lot. And it does not fit at all with the lines of the rest of the dwelling, okay? Because this is a beautiful room. It's gorgeous. Let's continue.
Have your food, partners. I'll be like, oh my god, this is so themed.
Yeah, this is like...
For the house, a small child lives in there. If that was a house, a small ghost child.
In the whole house or in this fireplace?
In the
specifically?
fireplace, a ghost child.
So this is, I'm just gonna, because what this looks like to me is just like a normal fireplace and then just
Chimney.
put some giant rocks on it.
Yeah, but what's not to say that in the rocks you won't see the face of a ghost child? How is that not clear to you?
Because I feel it's quite dense with rock.
Yeah, but ghosts can go through things.
I just don't think a child is gonna live amongst the rocks.
A ghost child. You're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Okay, I still don't...
It's a ghost child?
I still don't... Do you know what I think would make this better?
Yeah, go on.
Is if
A fog
you
machine.
had...
Like a fog machine. Like rolling down the rocks.
Hi, Dovey.
Like, what's that jungle themed restaurant? Planet Jungle. No, what's it called?
Planet Hollywood?
Rainforest Cafe.
Rainforest
Yeah,
Cafe.
Rainforest
Get a leopard
Cafe.
on there with a broken arm
Yeah, doing this.
every time a storm goes.
Yeah. No, that's not what I was going to say.
Sure.
I was going to say like a sunken floor with some, like the 70s style, or is it 50s style?
Yeah, 70s style.
Maybe that's why I like it,
60s.
but it's not quite that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of I just like the idea of a fireplace.
You
in the
know
middle
what
of
I
a room.
really hate the most about this whole room? Is that they've brought the outside inside, but that's fine. What they have done is brought it into some kind of steel mine.
Yeah,
steel
steel
warehouse.
mine.
The things here are like those, what are these called? Iron rods.
Still,
What are these called? Do you know what I mean?
Still iron rods.
But so there's too many styles here. We have this very modern
Yeah.
table, very modern lights, this like warehouse-esque, this horrible tin can roof, and then this awful rug that looks like it's haunted itself.
Yeah, it's too many different styles. I also hate how they've just given up at the top and it just looks like you can see the shape of a
Right.
normal chimney.
Right.
Thinking about it, I actually don't like this at all.
Right.
When you take all the interior into everything, and make this nice, is like you
It makes absolutely no sense. There's no internal cohesion to this room. Like if this was a ski lodge, you know, and it was built into a mountain, you know, if it was built into a mountain, if it was like, let's say, the equivalent of like falling water, you know, falling water has the creek that's a feature of the house. It doesn't run through the house, but it runs under the house. And you would say, okay, well, this is a mountain home, and we can see part of the mountain, and you had this rugged stone fireplace. That's one thing. But this living room is very Frank Lloyd Wright, very mid-century modern, very sleek, you know. So this massive stone fireplace, it's so random. That's the thing.
you say if the theme of the whole room was a bit more outside vibey,
Partner?
maybe there was some plants and an animatronic leopard would make this so much
Where you
better.
got a cornbread for you, partner? And then there was a mountain goat on this, and it was like partner theme. What do you give it out of 10?
And actually a 2, to be honest with you. 1, because it is a room. 2, because I like the idea.
Yeah.
Where this is going.
Yeah,
Okay.
where it
Where
could
it is,
go.
where it could go.
I would also say Is that pictures of animals in the background?
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy to me. I would give this a 1 because I would feel uncomfortable there.
Yeah. What if the
Ew.
rock turns into a giant rock giant? Okay.
Oh my
So it's meant to
God,
look
look
like
at
you're under
this.
the sea, and that's like a little ripple, which I don't hate. Listen. Wow. Wait, I don't hate that.
Oh, I don't
idea.
know,
There's
Denise.
something
I'll have
about
to take a
dark
look.
wood, like
Oh, I
this
hate dark
polished
wood.
wood. You know, it's very like LA 2001.
My house costs too much, but this is what it looks
For
like.
some reason, my kitchen is all dark wood.
Dark wood.
Yeah.
Listen, can I? Okay.
Beautiful
maybe we
floors.
should do some positives, right? The sofas, plenty of people. To
You
sit.
could have so many people sitting
so many
down.
people sitting down.
Why is that room so empty? Like, I get it. When you have such beautiful floors, you want to show them off. You don't want to cover them with rugs. It would drive me crazy trying to keep those floors polished. They are beautiful floors. All right. But why is the room so sparsely decorated? I don't get it. Just these two identical couches side by side. And why? I'm not understanding the layout of this room. It's very cold. The swordfish and the fishy decor notwithstanding, I'm just not getting the vibe of this room.
That blue isn't a blue I would choose to have in my house anywhere.
Right.
I think it's too sporty a blue.
Yeah, it's too primary blue.
Too
I
sporty,
think.
yeah.
You see, it does have a graduation. There is a graduation going from the bottom to the top. What I will say is the lights are throwing me off because it looks like it's all...
You're right. The sunburst is not my thing, but the wood of the floor is beautiful. It is beautiful. I just wouldn't be able to keep it clean. No way in hell. Out of the question. It is above my pay grade to try and keep something that shiny and lovely.
also trying to be space.
Yes.
Hang on. What's that?
A window.
But what's this?
The sea.
The sea's right fucking there.
Why are you trying to
So
be
it
under the
is.
sea when the sea is right there?
Go outside. I don't like sword sharks, whatever this is.
Sword sharks.
Hang on. Pretend this is 2002.
This is what I was going to say. I would feel comfortable in this seating arrangement.
I would actually think this is
if
pretty
it was
cool.
early 2000s.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh wow, a themed room.
Yeah.
Like they used to do on like home makeover shows where they're like, let's just make this whole room just a one theme.
One theme.
Not
Can I just say, and this is just this is my personal taste. I don't like themed rooms. And I used to cringe when those makeover shows would create themed rooms because the themed rooms looked like one giant trolling expedition or trolling experiment. They would create like a tiki room or, a nautical room or something like that. And it was so weird. And it never really fit with the personality of the homeowner. And they seemed to pick themes that had nothing to do with the family that lived in the house. And they did it just to get under the owner's skin, just to like take their blindfolds off and they take a look around at the room and they burst into tears or they go running out of the room. So I'm not a themed room person. Unless, of course, you like themed rooms. If you like themed rooms, that's cool. I just don't know what I would pick. And it's different, like, if you have a child and you want to do, like, a Disney princess room or a race car room or something for a little kid, but for an adult and you do, like, a luau room or some weird shit like that, no. No, not my bag.
not
just
the
nice and
craziest.
clean. Let's make it a theme.
Yeah.
You know what I'm going to say, actually? So I just went dizzy because I was about to give it a 5 and I didn't believe in myself.
That's your body telling you.
Yeah, I'm going to give
yourself.
it 3. Yeah, that felt good.
And this is probably like a young boy's room where all of his friends come and hang out.
No, I think
No.
this
They
is
come
living
and they
quarters.
rock out.
I think that they're just punk out.
If this is a boy's hanging out room or like kids' room,
Or someone who likes...
Why would you put such a shiny wooden floor in a kid's room to get it all scuffed up? I don't see that as a kid's room. I see that as the room of somebody who's really into fishing, but they kind of lost motivation halfway through decorating the room. Or maybe the house was foreclosed on and they all had to fuck off. No, I don't see that as a kid's room. I think that any parent who had kids in that room would definitely not put such a shiny floor down. No way.
It's fishing. Doesn't
they're
matter if they're boy or
five.
girls.
Yeah, but yeah. But if this was a living room, 1. Do you know what? There's nothing worse, and I say this respectfully, parents, than a sea-themed room.
Certain parents who would put a lighthouse in every bathroom. Mum and Dad.
Sorry.
Oh my God, remember? Oh God, I just had a memory. Remember when, I think it was when Amber Lynn and Destiny were living together, and Amber Lynn filled the bathroom sink with seashells. It was like the most random thing. And I guess that they were living in Florida at the time, and she thought that seashells in the sink made sense, and they would go with like the Florida motif. And people were just raking her over the coals in the comments section. And they're like, you know how unsanitary that is? Why do you have seashells in your sink? And it wasn't just a few shells. I mean, the sink was like halfway full of seashells. And it was ridiculous. Like, I get what she was trying to do, but the execution was terrible. And she got roasted and roasted and roasted for it. It was hilarious.
Sorry, Mum and Dad. No, you've done it nice
No,
now.
you've done it. Yeah, it's
done
nice now. It's different now. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh no,
This is worse
Karsten.
than the whole world. Like
Karsten, look at that. Look at that. There's another room for the Priscilla drag queens. Look at those puffy pleather cabinet covers. Look at that. I have never, ever in my life seen such a thing. Although, here's my other thought. When it comes to this puffy pleather stuff, you know who else might have this in their home? Those families from My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. You know how they keep their daughters at home like slaves. You know, they dress them up like hookers and they marry them off when they're like 14. And the girls stay at home all day, dusting all those tacky knickknacks that they have all over the living room. This is something that I can see those families having in their kitchen. I can see them thinking of this as elegant and opulent and all of that shit. And blingy cabinets. That is absolutely fucking hideous. Hideous. Let's go.
never seen
No,
something
let
so
me
disgusting.
tell you something. Let me
Go
tell you
on.
something. Part of me was like, oh, and then part of me went to like a little bit like Polly Pocket, and then a little bit was like, I kind of get it.
Polly Pocket would never.
Polly Pocket.
Polly Pocket.
But then also, then I thought, oh my god, I bet they're really easy to clean.
Yeah, they do.
Like,
look
just wipe down.
Shiny.
Yeah.
Get a Dettol wipe on them.
But then I was like, oh my god, like they look like pastry, they look like pie crusts, and I kind of got it a little bit.
And by the way, I was watching, I don't know, I was really bored one night and feeling like I was really grumpy. And so I went back to look at some highlights of those Big Fat Gypsy wedding shows, just to look at the wedding dresses because they were so ridiculous. And there was one where, typically the girl got married super young and she was wearing a ridiculous dress. And, oh, no. It wasn't. Was it her wedding, or was it that it's sort of like the equivalent of the coming out party where they create a ridiculous dress that is as ridiculous as the wedding dresses, and then they let the girl loose among the boys and the boys grab her and then she has to choose someone. Well, the girl who was featured in the episode became a professional wrestler. She got away from her family. She got away from the dude. And she went into wrestling. I don't remember if it was WWF or if it was some other wrestling league. But she said that the entire storyline of her episode was manufactured, that the whole thing was scripted, that it had nothing to do with reality, that all the lines, all the dialogue was scripted. I mean, not that I'm surprised. It's just, it was a lot. But, okay. So just don't believe everything you see.
If I'm being honest.
No, I think this is a false luxury. When people put like Chanel symbols on their kitchen, it's like
yeah.
Chanel don't make kitchen cabinets,
Well,
and you don't
they
need to
might
be
do.
a
Me
Chanel
too, Dove
buyer
Kitty.
to know that.
Yeah.
I unironically like that show.
James's whole kitchen.
I've never. I wish this was pie themed. That's what I think it is. I can imagine like a little animated grandmother with a pie hat on.
Strawberry shortcake.
Oh, strawberry shortcake. That's what I'm thinking.
If this was an Airbnb, I'd be like, cute. Like, I'm staying here for a week. I don't need to deal with cleaning the small crevices
Yeah.
every so.
Yeah.
But it's not up to me I do have some concerns also as well, but I'll just be poking the puff all the time.
All the time.
All the
And I
time.
bet you as well that is fake plastic.
Okay, so Crochetter, I wasn't looking at your comments in chat. What do you think of these pleather cabinet covers? I need to get your honest opinion on these cabinet covers because I swear to God, I have never seen such a thing. But they are very, they're my Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. They're also like very Mafia Wife, you know, maybe early Scorsese, you know, very like Goodfellas or whatever. But I am, oh, okay, a one-word review. All right, I got it. I have registered your complaint. Let's go.
Pleather.
Oh, yeah.
So the more you do it, the more it's
Well,
gonna
leather
crease
can't be
and
that
crack.
shiny, can it?
I think you can like paint it.
And imagine how awful this must be to clean under your, what's this called?
Oven.
Oven, especially.
What if you were to drop a soup?
This does make me uncomfortable.
Drop a soup.
I know exactly how the water comes out that time.
Yeah,
it's
but
not
it's
good.
like bits,
Yeah,
but strong.
Yeah, unfortunately.
This is too close to the edge, one, and I think it's just done for a picture, but 3 is fine. A block of 3. High, medium,
I would like
low.
to see the other side of the kitchen as well, because if that's all the room they have to work with.
I'm surprised that the fridge isn't themed, that it's this white fridge situation. It's not themed so much to the thing, to the cabinets. I mean, I'm sure these cabinets are custom made, right?
They must be.
Like, who is making those? Can you not just make a
Exactly.
fridge,
Who's making
cover?
them?
Or get a cream fridge.
Yeah. A smeg.
Snag.
Honestly, I see a lot of potential in it.
I
can
don't.
see if they just take that theme all the way. This is grotesque. 2.
Nice pie, by the
Yeah,
way.
because I could see it being like a nice sensory thing, but other than that, it's not practical in any way.
Well, I was going to give it a 5.
A 5.
Because you know what, James? It's one colour. It's cream the whole way through.
Yeah.
Yes, it's puffy, but it's a consistent theme. It's actually quite tidy, eh? And it's easy to. I would say it's easy to wipe down.
But I think the grey oven also doesn't make sense. Is that grey sink?
Grey goes with
Okay, so Robert, are you telling me that you like the puffiness? Because you and I, for the first time, we are going to have a disagreement. I hate that it came to this over puffy cabinets. No, the puffiness is not. No.
every colour.
I would say not this.
I would say you're wrong.
I personally
but also,
wouldn't.
just to say, I mean, none of the accessories match, which isn't.
That's what I mean.
You should, but different time, different place. This might be a different country. That might be how they do things.
Okay.
Whatever could be next.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, give us a second. Was that ice? No.
What do you think there's a jacuzzi?
Oh my
I
God.
think that's
Okay.
like a jacuzzi or a hot bath.
So then what are these red things?
Maybe that's where a hole used to be and then they patched it up.
And what's on the ceiling?
Okay, what are we doing
Ice.
here?
This room might be a little bit more impressive when the lights are on, because I'm assuming that the lights turn on and all these get like a glow.
Yeah.
And we've got like the Sanford and Son recliner thing going on over here. Look at all this. Look at all this. Look at this very complicated stonework. I don't know what to say. I have no comment. Let the boys talk.
It's giving Flintstones.
Yes.
And I'm kind of into it a little bit.
It's more Roman, I would say. Don't you think?
No.
Because this is like Roman tiling. That's not Flintstones.
You mean mosaic? Mosaic?
No, that's not the only kind of
No, it's not
stonework the
mosaic,
Romans
stop.
had.
Yeah, everywhere. Mosaic everywhere.
History, bitch.
Honestly,
But,
I don't hate this for the purpose it function it purposes.
I agree. I imagine this to be outside a separate part of a house. Well, a separate from the house.
I want everybody to notice that Crochetter's questions about all of these design elements all have to do with cleaning. Crochetter is the neatest person on the face of the earth. This is not to say that all of you in the chat are slobs, but Crochetter has particular standards for keeping things clean. And I know that this makes him panic. I know that bringing up something like this makes Crochetter sweat, okay? I think that he may even be shaking a little bit. He may be shook for the gods. Because, yeah, that is a good question. How the hell do you clean that?
It may be a snowy country. You're like, let's go to our hot springs room. You can sit on that damp chair while we hot springs
Now,
ourselves.
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do wish there was some rails to hold on to.
Yes,
It's
because they can
quite
get quite
slippery
wet
in
and
there, or a little bit of
slippery.
rubbery grip on the stairs. But other than that, honestly, and the red brick is shit, shocking. I don't hate it. I think 6 because I get it. It serves its function. But it's just a
6?
little bit outdated.
Yeah, if you were looking around a house and like, oh, and this is like the hot springs room, you'd be like, wow.
Wouldn't put me off.
I'm gonna give it a 6. Did you say 6?
A 6?
No, sorry,
Oh.
5.
I'm gonna give it a 6. Sorry?
What?
This gives me home of tomorrow.
What the hell is that?
Does it you?
Yeah, I just don't understand what I'm looking at.
I don't
Come and
either.
sit down, but we want sitting here to be such a confusing experience. We'd rather
Yeah.
just get.
Why does that table have a ziggurat sitting on top of it? I mean, what is the purpose of that table? Look at how much space the ziggurat takes up on top of the table. That is a lot. That is a lot. Again, this is all new to me. I have never seen a table like this. And it certainly doesn't leave a lot of room to serve anything. Imagine going to a furniture store and running into a table like that and saying, "Oh my God, this is what my house is missing. Thank God I ran across this ziggurat table." Wow. Okay. Yeah, I don't understand what I'm looking at either.
Up and leave.
Like, you can't put anything anywhere.
Yeah.
There's no workspace.
No, because there's literally a hole here.
Yeah.
Or is
Is
that
that
a mirror?
or a mirror? Is this like a showroom? Because what's this blue door about?
It must be a hospital, because only hospitals have blue doors. This is a mind boggle.
It
I
is a
do think
mind
this is still
boggle.
one of the worst kitchens I've ever seen.
Oh,
Yes.
Ever.
No. It's making me feel a bit sick. Should we get rid of it?
Travel
I'm gonna
sick.
give it a 1.
Should we give it a 0?
Yeah, I feel a bit
I'm
nauseous.
gonna give it a 1. Yeah, because of the free ovens.
Let me have a. Oh no!
Oh, no.
no!
Uh-oh.
Don't
Uh-oh.
you fucking dare! This is stunning.
Okay, all right.
Oh,
Listen, I
Lord.
love it.
I love it too.
I absolutely.
Oh my God. I am so ashamed of the two of you. They both love it. You know what, Karsten? You're right. They are gayer when they are together. Oh my God. When they're together, it's like their gayness goes to an 11, which is one of the things I love about their podcast channel. They are so cute. They both love it. Look at this. What in the Real Housewives is this kitchen? Look at that gigantic chandelier. And you've got everything. You've got the cheetah. You've got the faux, like, French provincial. You've got the whole thing going on. There you go. There you go. All right, let's hear what they love about it. Let's go.
Love it.
Like, unironically, I think it's
Yeah.
so much that it's so good. And
Yeah.
so right.
I would get rid of some of this tat up here, plain walls, paneling all the way up. But leopard print isn't really my bag.
Oh, leopard,
But
I
it
not
would
works,
cheetah.
be.
I get
yeah,
it. Yeah.
I enjoy this kitchen, and I would feel opulent in there.
I'd feel very opulent. I'd
You see, crocheter, opulence. Opulence. So. And they even said the word opulent. I love it. Yes, that is my problem with the chandelier. The chandelier is too big for the kitchen. That is a really nicely sized kitchen, but that chandelier is so huge, it actually makes the kitchen look a little bit smaller. But it is opulent.
wear like a silk
You'll get a robe. I'll get a
leopard
smoker's
print one,
jacket,
yeah.
shoulder pads, collar.
Oh, like burgundy with leopard print
Right.
sheathing.
Right, chiefing.
This is what I mean by if you're gonna do puffy fucking cupboards,
Go
Yeah.
for it.
Go all
for
the
it.
way with it.
Yeah.
And even though I personally wouldn't have this in my home, I would happily move into a house with this kitchen.
Yeah, I would
and
be like, we'll do it later.
We'll do it like I would
Yeah.
keep this for a bit
Yeah,
and do it
absolutely.
later.
Look, and it's quite, look, they've got their ice machine. It's a double-sided fridge. That's custom.
Yeah.
They look like cupboard doors.
They look like cupboards. Great. Love
I
it.
don't hate it.
I love it. I would like to see the rest of their house.
As far as ugly goes, as much as this isn't my style, I'm going to
10.
give this a 10.
I'm gonna
A
give it a
10.
10.
I think it's
functional, impressive.
opulent.
It's, you know what? It's too much, but it's not distasteful.
Like,
What?
No, that's
Okay, what
Mandela
is-
effect,
what-
what's it called?
liminal space.
How
Yeah.
dare you? One, it will smell.
What in the weird dreamscapes is this bedroom? Again, this is a picture that I look at and I think maybe it's AI, but let's assume for the sake of argument, it is not AI. So we've got a whole ass swimming pool. We've got the round bed. We've got this like French chair right here. We've got the TV. The TV, which I assume is plugged in, surrounded by water. That's great. Same thing with the lamps. Okay, yeah. I want to know who the architect was who designed this space, if it is in fact a real living space. I have so many questions about this room. So many.
Yes.
To a TV that close to water, I don't think so.
I quite like the idea of a bed amongst water,
Yeah, but not a swimming pool.
but
Oh,
not
sorry, wait. Oh, Frankie.
not a bedroom bed in a swimming pool.
Also, where's the plug for the TV? Imagine a cold winter's night, and like, oh, I'm gonna go to bed, and you walk into the swimming pool room.
And it's a bit
Pool,
smelly, a bit
pool room.
chlorine.
What's the name for it? Pool room, or just the pool?
Pool room.
Because that isn't that like where you have a pool table. I'm gonna give this a 0 out of 10 because I hate it so much.
Oh my
I think it's
goodness.
disgusting,
I'm
actually.
going to give it a 0. It serves no function.
Yeah, I actually think what's wrong with you?
The acoustics will be terrible in there
Terrible.
too.
That's
Listen to
true.
the television.
Yes, imagine trying to watch ITV2 late night. with that one.
I don't hate the idea.
Oh, Lord
Yes,
have
but I hate
mercy.
But if this was like a
execution.
dark room with velvet curtains and a bit more gothic, great, really interesting concept.
Yeah,
But-
Okay, so nose is too real, teeth are too real. This
eyes probably follow
fine.
you.
The eye should be closed.
What? No, but then he'll be going, it doesn't make sense. He's angry and away.
Yeah, screaming. Because he's just got a regular face. It's like, yeah. Yeah, whereas if his eyes were
What the fuck,
closed, it
dude?
might be a little bit more tedious. No, what's the word? Strenuous. No, what's the word?
It doesn't make sense. It looks like they've put this in a fucking new build room and then like...
That's it,
And
that's
yeah,
it.
it doesn't make sense. It's very out of place.
Yeah, it's the teeth for me as well. They're a little bit like, okay, so they're teeth.
Yeah, I don't think there needs to be teeth, do you? Just a heavy lip will do.
Or two fangs.
No, and then look, those cushions from Dunelm, and then you have the
Very
fucking
modern.
green man devil, whatever thing this is meant to be.
Yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense. I think they've tried to put in a statement piece, and it's a bit like you went wrong. You
I
went
agree.
you went off the rails.
I
Get
agree.
a vase of sticks in like
Just-
everyone else.
No, it's called pampas grass.
Pampas grass.
Cats and pampas
Right.
grass. But I am going to give it 4
Why?
because
Why?
it's very clean. The grey matches the grey of the furnishings, and if you walked into an Airbnb and you're like, okay, this isn't my home, but this is fine for a week.
No, I would
No.
think there are hidden cameras in the eyes. All the reasons you gave for this being a 4, I do not think makes it a 4. It's just it's out of place. Maybe if this is outside, an outside fire,
Yeah, yeah.
but this doesn't make sense. I give it 0. 'Cause
I don't
what
get
the
it
fuck are
either.
you doing?
0, I think you're a little bit untoward
No,
there.
I think absolute Zemo. This is
0.
everything I
0
hate.
out
no.
of everything. And why is that? There will be human waste on these flowers.
Yeah, and you have a straight man come and urinate in your bathroom and you're
On
fucked.
that toilet.
You have a straight man come and urinate in your bathroom and you're fucked? Yeah, kind of. Okay. When I heard that this very 70s bathroom decor style was coming back, I said one word. Why? Why? It didn't work in the 1970s. It is not going to work now. Nothing has changed. We are still facing the same fundamental issues that this decor presents now as we did in the 1970s, and it is a disaster. I understand that the kids today are all into like nostalgia and all that shit, but please, you want to do some shag rug accents in the house, I would strongly advise against it. But if you're really insisting on doing it, go ahead. Just be aware it's very hard to clean. But the bathroom, absolutely not. This doesn't work in any decade, in any century. No, just leave it. Leave it. It is a real problem.
with every kind of rug around it.
Why are they labelled? Like, you can buy these.
It's
Oh, you
probably from an old
could.
catalogue.
Yeah.
Can you imagine there was a point of time where somebody would have looked at that and be like, oh,
Yeah.
should we do this in the bathroom? And be like, oh, let's make it a bit more modern. Let's do this.
Absolutely sodden with piss.
Sodden with piss. Absolutely thick with piss. Every single
I wonder
piece.
if that was the idea, though, and then they just chuck them in the washing machine, and then their toilet was clean. Zero, because that's
Zero.
That's fucking vile.
That's fucked up.
Unhygienic.
That's not even funny, actually.
I can smell the piss.
I can smell it. Imagine walking in and be like, it's thick with piss.
Yeah, this makes sense for exactly what I
Okay.
think is going on.
Yeah, what do you think is going on?
I think they're either in Essex or Liverpool. They've just moved into their new house.
Yeah.
Or they are.
Okay, so this is very Edie Sedgwick, very Andy Warhol, very groovy, very New York City 60s. I don't hate the couch. But you guys know I have an innate bias towards wallpaper. The room is way too loud. But the couch is fun. I admit it, the couch is fun, okay? Shoot me. The couch is fun. And I like the color.
Yeah, at a spa.
Yeah.
Or it's it's her 21st
Yes,
birthday.
yeah.
She's got her girlies.
She's got her
and gays
rollers. She's got her
around.
rollers in.
rollers in.
Yeah. I think that might be her boyfriend.
That's her boyfriend, which is. I'm fine with people having boyfriends.
We don't mind.
Don't
it.
judge. But Pink and Zebra is tacky, and it's always been tacky, and it was never
It's
in
very
style.
Kelly.
I love that poster, Karsten. I think the poster looks great. But the surrounding wallpaper, it's way too busy. You know, that the poster should be the focal point of the room, but it is being drowned out by that loud wallpaper, which is a shame. But anyway, let's continue.
The Osbourne, Avril Lavigne period, time period.
Yeah, punk princess.
Yes,
I
yeah.
like it. It's purposefully distasteful.
Yeah, I agree. If you were to walk into an Airbnb and it was like, this was it for a week,
Yeah.
I will be fine. You know
Absolutely
what?
fine.
I would even become accustomed to this.
Yeah.
Natasha Bedingfield.
Natasha Bedingfield,
in the
yes.
background. I'm fine with it. I'm
Yeah.
actually fine with this.
Yeah.
This if this was a salon, I'd be like outdated but fine.
But fine. Yeah. 6 out of 10. Not my
yeah,
style.
not my style, but it's not distasteful.
No, I listened
No,
to
it
Avril
isn't.
Lavigne
And
and
if-
feature Lil Mama.
Featuring Lil Mama. And if you were like, listen, I'm having a party, we're gonna get ready in this place.
I'd be like,
I'd be like,
fun.
ah!
Great fun.
You
great
walk in and be
fun.
like, ah!
Yeah.
And you'd be doing this.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh my god, take a picture.
And then the person would be like, I bought everyone slippers for some
yeah.
reason.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Okay,
What's in the holy heavens?
let's go through everything. There's so
What?
this has to be America because no.
Why?
No.
That's a UK plug socket.
So
that means this was
I beg your pardon, Welsh twins. Why did you automatically assume that this was America? I didn't, nor did I automatically assume it was the UK. Thanks a lot, you two. You really think we're this bad? Oh my God, what a disaster, though. I don't know what's going on in this room, but it looks like a set for the new Saw movie. It's very, very disturbing.
never intended to be a bathroom
Yeah.
because that's against the law in the UK to have
Right,
a plug socket.
right.
But then you have your
Beautiful
old people
chandelier.
falling over lead,
No,
your real chandelier. Is that not what that is?
What?
No, I think it's just a really long.
They
It's
put
usually
leads
red.
in old
They're
people's
usually red.
bathrooms, and if you fall over, you have to crawl to the lead and pull this.
It's usually red,
Oh.
and it's usually right next to the toilet.
Right.
This is clearly an old hotel room or an old hostel
Okay.
that they're doing up because the boiler is right above the sink,
Right, is that what you think of that?
and the toilet is the same.
that should have been an airing
Okay.
cupboard.
I think this was a hotel room. One, the carpet is vile, and it looks
It
like
is,
they're
it's
redoing
horrible.
it up a little bit. But these like wall, what are these called?
Plaqueways.
Plaqueways. Very 2000s.
Wall stickers.
Is it?
A lot
No,
of them.
no,
Very
come on.
2000s.
Yeah. I am going to give this a 0.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 0 too.
I hope it's something else now. I hope they managed to make it over. But this room is not a room of any type of room.
no.
No,
This is like
no.
imagine what a room looks like, but then unimagine it.
If you plug your hairdryer in that close to a sink, You're dead.
You're instantly dead.
The
You lick
socket,
lick the plug,
put
stick
it in.
Okay, hear me out.
Yeah, no. Okay, no, you
Hear
go
me
first.
out.
come
There
on,
was
you
a
two.
certain period of time where everyone was like really obsessed with trying to be Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I think this is what they tried to do with this plant.
Yeah.
And the yellows and the browns but also trying to keep it like inside.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
No, I know what you mean.
Bringing the outside of Hawaii inside.
Yeah.
I think it's a 70s.
There is absolutely not a goddamn thing about this room that says Hawaii. Nothing. Nothing. This is like from a time capsule, 1970s. 1970s, the shag rug, all of it. The hideous wallpaper. No. Forget Hawaii. Forget Hawaii. Think Boogie Nights. That's what this room is.
Has everyone seen this?
Yeah.
And that looks like either an umbrella holder or a cigarette thing.
It's a
No,
it's a
it's
cigarette. It's an ashtray.
Does the carpet look like it's dripping off the step?
Yeah, that is a vintage ashtray. I used to have one exactly like it in my apartment like 40 years ago, back in the 80s. Yeah. Yeah, that was a great ashtray. I wonder whatever happened to it. I lost it in one of the thousands of moves that I made in the 1980s. Probably somebody stole it.
And it is malevolent, yes. And does the oh my god, what
scrambled egg.
what is it when somebody makes Mark and Only cheese and it's bright yellow? It's in the I think it's a Nickelodeon show. And someone tries to make macaroni cheese and it's bright yellow in a ball.
It looks like
Raven,
that. Is it?
No, it's
Oh.
older. I think it's older. Tell us down below.
Oh my god.
It looks like that.
Yeah.
But does that carpet look plush? Would I get my toes in and amongst that carpet?
100%.
Absolutely.
I really like this, and I'd like to see the rest of the house.
If
Are you
I was
serious?
a multi-billionaire, I would have a house and I would theme every room a time period. And I would have a living room kitchen that was 70s.
Sometimes I would like a old style 50s house.
Yes.
You know, that's kind of like in Bewitched and the Brady Bunch
Yeah.
with
Brady
70s
Bunch is
interior.
different.
I like this.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Are you two out of your minds? Excuse me, but we're going to have a conversation. 10 out of 10? I am just speechless. And they agree on that. I don't understand. Listen, you two are quite young, okay? I don't think that you understand the implications of having that much shag rug in your home. And don't you both own animals? Do you know what can happen to a shag rug if an animal makes a mess on it? No, shag rugs are the devil's own. Do you know how hard they are to keep clean? Like when you first lay a shag rug down, it looks really groovy and retro and all of that shit. And then as soon as the thing starts to get older, age, gets dirty, they are literally impossible to keep clean. Impossible. And I know that I saw a video not so long ago about Gen Z and how they're really into these old looks, like these really trendy looks from the 1970s. And every single interior designer that is advising young people on how to furnish their place says, do not fall for shag carpet because you will regret it. And you're going to end up ripping it all up because you can't get rid of the crumbs, the hair, the dirt, nothing. So yeah, no shag rug. Ixnay on the Gure Agshay, okay? Just don't.
10 out of 10 for me,
It's
honestly.
practical. It's not invasive.
It looks homey, but really smart.
Yes.
Yeah, that's horrible. That's actually distasteful.
I wouldn't even like that at Christmas. That's too much.
It looks like a whole present.
I have never once in my life farted, but that makes me want
that
to
is
fart.
ghastly. No, it's an eyesore.
Yes. Curse it.
The cupboards covered in this, what I assume is a wrapping paper.
There's something here. Oh, it's
That's
a
a
door.
that's a cupboard.
Oh, it's a cupboard.
Was that a
Oh.
door? The chair. This. What's here though? What's all this? Like, what's behind there?
Are they
Is that just a wall?
blinds?
That is a blind. You're right. It's like one of those flappy blinds.
See, that's
Yeah.
way too
Horrible.
much.
Actually offensive.
Yeah, I'm actually really.
I'm pissed off.
I don't know if I can.
Okay, so if there are any Gen Zers watching this right now, please read Annie's comment. Do you really want to have to rake your rugs? Think about it. You don't have to answer right away. I'm just saying. Do you understand what you are getting yourself into if you lay down shag rug in your home? I don't think you do. Just don't make any sudden moves, okay? Just be careful.
Carry on with the day.
I'm pissed off to the point of fart. Actually, -0.
Yeah.
Actually, whoever did that, I should be in prison for life. Okay, I think this might be fake. But let's say it's real.
This is, I get, it
Oh,
should,
okay.
I think it should be just like a little nod towards someone being murdered in a room rather than...
Like a chalk outline on the floor.
Or just like a little head splatter behind the sofa.
behind the sofa,
to
perhaps your
suggest
coasters
murder.
are covered in blood.
Yeah.
Covered in real blood.
Yeah. not this, because this is just tacky.
That
Yeah.
actually just looks shit. And I think it looks like paint splatters rather than blood.
Yeah, it does.
So what, I assume when it's
maybe it
red,
is
it's
meant to
trying
be-
to be blood.
Are we just being morbid, or is it meant to be paint?
No, I think it's meant to be blood because you wouldn't choose red paint splatters and be like, it's not blood.
Yeah, true.
This looks like somebody's tried to be modern but just has no idea what to do.
Yeah, this is like, oh, what can we do to make our
So like,
son's room
yeah,
nice?
I'll mix old with new.
Yeah.
And what can I do on the walls? That's a little design, a little bit of working.
I can see it. It's a nice room without the paint splatters. Like, it's fine.
Oh, it's a lovely room.
It's more like one of those rooms where you don't know what to do with it, so you put some chairs in it, and then people sit in it and look out a window. Like a day room.
You're like, this is the entertainment room. And it's like,
Yeah,
well, there's
like-
nothing.
We'll have guests in here.
Come and fart in this room. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it a 2.
Okay.
No.
I'm gonna say 1.
Oh, no, I was going to go a bit high, actually.
Why?
I was going to say 3 because it's a really nice room, and I feel like once you're used to the blood splatters, you can kind of write it
I'm
off.
sorry, no, that room was not aesthetically pleasing. I don't get it unless, like, was it Gata who said that, wait a minute, who was it? I think it was Gata who said, whatever. If you're a horror movie fan, if you're a true crime fan, and you really, really want to lean into it, then that's cool. But no, it's too much. It's a bit much, isn't it? Don't you think? Just a bit.
Off
I
and
mean,
get
I
used
feel like
to
I'm
it.
purely judging it on I'm just seeing it as the blood splat idea.
Okay, but it's more than that. It's
Okay,
more
well,
than that.
well, if it's more than that, then it will be like a 3.
Yeah, you see it as a room and experience. 10.
Absolute 9
What?
because of this clown.
Yeah, 9 because of a clown. Is that a
Listen.
Princess Diana beanie baby? Oh no, it's just
Oh,
a...
Lord have
Do
mercy.
you know what I saw a TikTok the other day that was somebody going through how much Beanie Babies the
Cost
company,
now.
no, how much they said they were going to cost,
And how much they are now.
and how much. Well, no, not even that.
How much they said on
Do you want to let me? It was how much they cost
Looking
at
at
the
the certain
time.
ones.
How much they cost at the time.
And the
Then
promises.
how much they thought they'd be. and
Promises
if
they
you-
would have made.
Promises they would have made, and it's untrue.
Oh, sorry.
Elephant
Let's
Court?
take it down to...
And guess what, you guys? That's exactly what is going to happen with these Labubu's. This Labubu craze. And you know that Robert is a Labubu collector? I found that out the other day. I had no idea. But all these people who are like bum rushing the stores and buying out the vending machines and going absolutely berserk and, you know, accumulating these huge collections thinking, oh, it's no problem. When I need room, I will just, you know, resell all my Labubus. Guess what? Guess what? Your timing has to be perfect in order to make back the money you spent or even make more money if you're going to flip them. You have to be very careful. Take a look at what happened with the Beanie Babies, you guys. And you will see that you have to have very, very, very good timing. Just don't collect all of those things. Just don't. I mean, 1 or 2, okay, they are kind of cute. But goddamn, you want to talk about some weird trend that I totally do not understand at all. I don't get it at all. But, you know, that's in the nature of weird, like, trends, I guess.
What in the
This is-
goodness world?
and the
this one,
clowns.
that's Barber.
Baba, that's it.
I haven't heard of them for a while. Is this practical? Not at all. But I guess this is a kind
You know, I did, but before I watched her video, before I watched it, and it was really funny because it popped up in my subscribe list, and I copied the link and I went to Instagram to send it to Crochetter, and I noticed that he had already sent it to me because we had been talking about Labubus. I had no idea what they were, and then I think that he brought it up first to me when we were having a conversation. And I went to look them up and I was floored because I looked at these little things and I was thinking, and I said to him, they remind me of the monsters from Maurice Sendak's Where the Wild Things Are, which I love. It's probably one of my favorite books from childhood. But I thought, these Labubu things, what are they? I thought that they might be Japanese. I didn't know what they were. And then I found out what they were, and I found out that apparently the design was somewhat based on Where the Wild Things Are. But I don't understand it, and it's funny how they became such a huge thing. I guess it's because of that girl from Blackpink. She really got the whole ball rolling. But goddamn, this craze, it's a lot. It's a lot. And I was actually going to do a stream about Labubus, but then I got so annoyed that I said, nah, fuck it. Just watch Kiki's video. Kiki Chanel did a really good rundown of Labubus.
of room you wouldn't sit. This is a display room.
This is one of those things where, like, if this is what you like, because I love toys, I wouldn't, personally, I don't have the time to do this every morning or evening or whenever.
Yeah, I feel
Absolutely
like this
not.
person doesn't get in and out of
Yeah,
bed.
but if they did, and that's something they choose to set up every day, like, you know, when people put too many cushions on their sofa,
Yes.
it's like, are you gonna, what do
Yeah.
you just sit amongst them, or do you take them off?
I have six cushions and pillows on my bed,
Right.
and I always just end up on the floor anyway.
I was gonna say insane, but I do too.
Yeah.
That's 9 out of 10.
Okay, we'll say 9 because some of
Yeah.
the things are cute and I don't want to hurt their feelings.
Yeah, no, of course.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
One fucking second.
What is going
first of
on in
all.
this room?
One fucking second. First of all, you don't need to have this chair over here.
No.
You have options to where to pop this table.
This is very
You can pop
weird.
this table here and have all 4 chairs there.
But I think they're trying to make it look like they're on a balcony.
But they know they're not. Do you think they look at that view and they're like, oh,
It's horribly tacky.
yeah,
it's
awful.
horribly
Is that a
tacky.
UK flag in the flower pot?
No, it doesn't look like a UK flag.
This is. I'm a bit upset at this because of. I mean, it's a table. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
Just
do you know-
I just want to say I understand not a single goddamn thing about this room. Nothing about this room makes sense to me. The layout, nothing. The random chair. I am flummoxed and I give up. All right.
Move it
more-
slightly.
yeah.
You could even have the chair there. And
Do you know
stand
what's
it up against
even
the
more
wall.
upsetting is you can tell this is the 2000s because you have wood with a silver leg.
Yeah,
That was
What
really
were we
big.
thinking?
I know.
Pine and silver.
Pine and silver.
Does anyone have pine anymore?
Although this wouldn't look out of place on like a 2000s like sitcom.
But also as well, this is going to sound really strange, but if this is someone's house to buy, I'll be like, that's so
Exactly.
weird. But if they'll like rent this house, I'll be like, okay, no, that makes sense. You know when you rent a place and not everything is perfect?
Oh, so you just deal
So
with
you just
it.
deal.
Yeah.
That, it looks like that.
Yeah, I do feel like this room would benefit from a bigger table if people sit around
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
table.
I
Yeah.
just hate what they've done so much.
So do I.
This chair is really annoying. me for no
The more you
reason.
actually look at it, the less offensive thing is that
Is the thing,
fake
it's the
balcony.
table.
It's the table.
It's the table.
The mix of woods and metal.
And how they have a fruit bowl on the edge there, and yeah, I'm
also
sorry.
flowers. Yeah.
Sorry.
And then they've also got a chandelier now too, with dark wood, like that kind of dark.
Like, come on,
wood.
like, there's a time and a place for dark words. And it's castles from, like, the 16th century.
Or like old houses.
Yeah, okay.
9 out of 10.
Okay, we'll say 9, because some of the
Yeah.
things are cute and I don't
9?
hurt their feelings.
Yeah.
What is
of
9
course.
about it?
That's England.
It's too random. I'm
This has to
sorry.
be someone's English England house.
I'm sorry.
Wait.
One fucking second, first of all.
Uh-oh.
One fucking second first. Oh,
Five,
because
it's fine. I
Yeah,
live in
that's
it.
better.
Move a
Jesus
table
Christ, you
and I'll be
guys.
like, put that chair on the table.
On the table, yeah.
I'm kind of okay with it.
I don't mind it at all. But what is it meant to be?
I don't know, but I feel like it's very modern SpongeBob SquarePants time.
If my neighbour did this, I'd be like,
Okay.
I'd be like, it doesn't offend me.
No, I'll be like, oh, do you work for Nickelodeon?
Yeah, I'd be like, the green is probably. I wish you. No, my issue would be, it looks like salmon paste rather than like
Like
pastel.
pink.
I wish it was a pastel.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't hate it. I just wish I knew what that was meant to be.
Yeah, I don't hate it either. But it's giving very much
Yep.
not Art Deco, not Art Nouveau.
No,
It's
not
very
Art Deco,
70s
not
wallpaper.
Art
Yeah.
Nouveau. Absolutely not.
7.
7. Yeah.
Big,
I think
lovely
7's really
big
fair.
windows here. This
Yeah.
matches this.
Is anyone British in the chat? What in the hell is salmon paste? I don't know what that is. I mean, I know that it should be self-explanatory, but I've never seen it, so I don't know what it's meant for. Do you just spread it on bread, on toast? What do you do with it? Because I'm curious now.
I think it's tastefully done, but it's not an eyesore.
Yeah, like I wouldn't be upset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7.
7.
Yeah, 7.
Fine. Absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I just want to know what that splodge is.
Yeah, right.
This is.
Oh my goodness.
Peak crushed velvet Essex.
Yes.
Oh, our furniture's mirrored for some reason.
And everything is velvet.
Very
Every
mafia
time I
wife.
see a room like this, I'm like, I'm going to get so many static shocks. But why is your Christmas tree against your bed?
Thank you, Britt.
And against your vanity.
Against your vanity.
I'm guessing this is like a showroom.
Like
or
they pulled it
something.
in from a picture.
Do you know what I don't like? And this
Angel
is
wings.
this is obviously a personal choice.
Thank you, Zarpax.
Not having a bedside table.
Oh, yeah.
Where do you put your 10 lip balms?
Where do you put all your lip balms? Where do you put the
your-
stuff you're like, I'm going to use this? And then, you know.
No, that is way too much crushed velvet, way too much chrome. Absolutely not. No. No, it's too much. It's too much. Basta. No.
Cold
Ew.
earplugs.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
hand cream.
Your hand creams.
I don't want to offend anyone because I feel like this is still relatively modern.
Yeah.
I do not like the velvet. I've never liked velvet.
Listen,
No.
love grey. I
Love grey.
love grey.
Love grey.
Grey is a beautiful tone.
I think this just takes millennial grey to
To an
horrible
extreme
level.
it gives fake luxury.
That's what it is.
Very
Yeah.
fake
It's
luxury.
a
Yeah.
misunderstanding of what luxury really is.
It's like if I was to walk into my room and be like, how could I make this feel more luxury than it is? And I was like, just cover every inch of a wall in a plastic diamond.
Yeah.
It would be like I'm trying too hard to give the impression of lux.
of lux.
So,
And-
I mean, I'm going to give it a 9.
Again, if it was an Airbnb and
Yeah.
this was a
9.
room, I'd be like, this is nice.
You would take pictures to take the piss a little bit.
Yeah,
and
but
send
it'd
it
be
to your
like,
friends.
it's
Be like,
actually
"Listen,
quite-"
I'm going to give it 9 because there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah.
There's
other than-
everything wrong
other
with
than
it.
that,
What are
it's
you
gonna
talking
outdate itself
about?
very quickly.
Yeah, and the feeling of velvet makes you want to
And I
throw up.
I
in
don't
my
like
mouth.
heavy things above the bed because what if it
Death.
falls and crushes your head?
Completely dead.
And then you'll be on a TV show like 10 Strange Deaths.
Yeah, the funniest death.
The funniest, and it'll be
Yeah.
like, whoop, and it'll have a,
Yeah.
yeah.
They'd be like, you love crushed velvet.
Yeah. People live lives.
People live in
Trying to
different
say something rude.
rooms.
Yeah, but the difference is, Karsten, that girl, whatever her name is, I wish I could remember her name. That girl at least makes all of her own stuff. And absolutely, it is tacky as hell. It's all going to fall apart the first time you sit on it. Or in the case of the wardrobe, if you try to hang up clothes in it. And yeah, her taste is terrible, but at least she works hard to put those pieces of furniture together. And it all comes from the heart. She's so sincere about it, you know? And I find her earnestness really, really joyful and adorable. But that room, no, it's giving mafia wife. No, it's too much. All right.
Trying to say something really deep and meaningful while stepping on.
Okay, there are rooms in everyone's house, and each room is a part of you.
And that's what makes up the world we live in, and it wouldn't be the same if there weren't different people.
No, it has to be about rooms.
Oh, each room. Rooms represent us as people, and they're not the same, and that's what makes up the world as different
Oh, you
rooms.
too.
Let's celebrate our rooms.
Celebrate celebrate our different rooms and one another in them.
You know what? Actually, go to your table right now and move a chair out that doesn't need to be and press
Put
it
it on the
against
other
the wall.
side of the room.
Just take it right up
Take
the
it over
other side of
there.
the room.
Listen, I feel really happy with that.
Yeah.
Tag
Yeah,
us
tell
in your
Tell
horrible
us.
room.
Yeah, do you have a really horrible room?
Let us know at your parents' house. Let us know.
House. And also tag us in pictures of you moving a chair to the other side of a room.
Do that.
Okay, I just wanted to say, you two You two are the cutest thing ever. I adore both of you. Both of you are so cute. Yes, when you're together, you're a lot, okay? But it's the kind of a lot that I think all of us would be happy to have around. And you know what's funny? What's funny is that when you're talented, when you are a great content creator, when you're intelligent, when you know what you're talking about, when you've got a great sense of humor, you know, you don't have to go on stream every single day, talk about the same shit in the middle of the night. You don't need to get hammered day after day after day and slur your way through a live stream. You can just go on video, you can turn your camera on, be perfectly sober, and you can hold the attention of so many people, but you have to have some sort of talent, you know? All right. All right, now that we've watched that adorableness, I ran into another video. We'll close out with this one. So, Maureen Callahan, I guess, or somebody, watched that Sex in the City show. And just like that. So we're going to get a recap. I know nobody asked for it, but I don't care. I have no intention of watching it. So I appreciate these recaps because I am a tiny bit curious, but not curious enough to go to all the trouble of watching it. Okay, so we'll let Maureen give us the recap of what sounds like an absolutely horrendous episode of television. Let's watch.
Now, we all just endured a man-made disaster on Thursday evening. Some of you maybe punted this viewing into the weekend. I took more than one emergency call from friends who hit a specific part in that episode and have been traumatized greatly. I myself am among them, but you know, I'm like Hoda, I'm a giver. So I'm like Larry Baldwin. I'd rather you be comfortable first. So I put aside my own pain and trauma to attend to the wounded out there. Now we're all going to talk about it.
Good.
So the season premiere, season 3 of the Sex and the City sequel, and Just Like That dropped. And, you know, we talked about Sex and the City a couple of episodes ago, and we got
And it was iconic.
so much response from you guys. I was hearing stuff like either I always hated that show too, but I was in the minority, so I had to keep my mouth shut, or I came to New York thinking that was a realistic way for young women to live, that, you know, it would be just all designer shoes and Cosmos and brunches and beautiful apartments, and holy shit, did I get the wind knocked out of me. It's not like that at all. Or yeah, like my daughter's watching it now and I'm trying to tell her this is fucked up, you know? So anyway, I thought it was worth revisiting because we open this episode, and I did a lot of research for you guys. So this is not just me opining, okay?
Okay.
We begin this episode. Carrie's living in one of these old, like these are really old, beautiful houses in Gramercy Park in New York City. These are very rare. There are very few of them. They date back to at least the 1800s. She's living in like a $40 million house.
Okay.
It's obscene. And they have this woman running around licking stamps to put on postcards. Okay?
Stop it.
Like stamps haven't been self-adhesive for decades. I mean, this isn't NASA technology, but you know, Carrie's just being her young, coquettish, youthful, whimsical 80-year-old self. I mean,
Wait a second. So how did she end up in that house? Did Big own that house before he dropped dead? And he left her the house? Is that what happened? I'm guessing that's what happened.
she looks like she's 80 years old. And you cannot tell me that these writers and producers and costume designers aren't fucking with Sarah Jessica Parker. They are. They make claim to the contrary, and we're going to go through a little bit of the official companion podcast and Just Like That. So now her character, Carrie, we're picking up from last season where Aiden, again, as discussed, you can go back. I can't do the deep dive, but this guy comes back into her life, and trust me, he would never in real life. This guy would never have a thing to do with her. Okay, so he says to her that their reignited third go round has to be put on pause for 5 years, and during that time they can have no communication.
Oh, for God's sake.
No texting, no emailing, no flares, nothing. Okay. And he left her, and he's moved multiple states away. And
Why 5 years? That's an oddly specific number of years.
so this is the edict. And she's treating it like they're in a really loving, healthy, mutual relationship that's just hit
No.
like a bump, you know? That is called a breakup.
Yeah.
So that is either the character of Aiden. I don't think the writers are firing on all cylinders, and we're gonna get to one who I think is a chief problem in that writer's room. I don't think they're firing enough on all cylinders to be this smart, like where they're doing a subtextual kind of thing where it's like Aiden's really just fucking with her for,
Right.
Again, put me in that writer's room. I got a million ideas. I would have him be fucking with her for all the lying and the cheating she put him through, for losing his beloved dog, for accepting his marriage proposal and allowing him to buy not only her apartment, but the one next door and combine the two. And all she does is bitch and moan while he's doing all this renovation work for free. And then she breaks his heart yet again. But everything's great with Aiden now. Everything's great. You know, he's out in Virginia,
sure.
which in this show's world, that's code for bumfuck USA. That's what they
Exactly.
think of middle America. Okay. Code for bumfuck USA. What are you doing with that country yokel? Okay. Now, a woman like Carrie, who is ostensibly a Manhattan sophisticate whose friends are smart and high-powered and wealthy, would be taken by the hand by at least one of them and told, listen, I am taking you to the best psychoanalyst in New York.
Right.
Okay? Because women like this always have a great shrink on speed dial. Jackie O was
True.
in therapy for the bulk of her adult life in New York City.
Well,
Okay?
who can blame her?
So this mental patient, by the way, okay, we all were nearly blinded by this hat. Look at this hat that they put Sarah Jessica Parker, aka Carrie, in. Okay? That
Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. No. No, no. I am throwing a flag on this entire play. The hat is ridiculous. That fringe hanging there is ridiculous. What else do we have going on? Those sleeves are ludicrous. Absolutely not. No. No. And I agree, the wardrobe department is really giving her a run for her money. Ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. Let's continue.
hat, by the way, that hat retails for almost $600.
Why?
Okay? Wearing that hat alone, they'd have her committed, you know? The hat alone, but the refusal to get help for talking about this guy.
Oh, wait, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Hang on. Okay, that is not a fringe. Those are pleats. Those are pleats hanging down from the waistline of that dress. God, that dress is so fucking ugly. Are you serious? Absolutely not. No. There is not a single thing about this look that is aspirational. Not even the handbag. Is that Pierre Cardin? You must be joking. Is that vintage Pierre Cardin? All right. They look like the little Pierre Cardin insignias.
Who has ghosted her as she's in a loving, mutually supportive, healthy relationship. If she refused the help that was offered to her, the deep psychological help she frankly needs, that entire cohort would back away slowly, because that's the kind of person who becomes a social and professional liability. A huge liability. You cannot be seen in that company, okay? Can't have her telling your shit all over town. Now, Michael Patrick King,
Oh, God.
who has been the circus ringleader of this debacle for 3 years now. And to hear him talk on this podcast, like, he's so impressed with himself. Like, he really thinks he's a fucking genius.
No.
And, you know, this is his playground. These are his women. There are these one or two original writers from Sex and the City, and you can tell they're trying to, like, or they gave up long ago, really, I think, trying to inject any of the show's original DNA into this woke, flat, one-dimensional, humorless reboot that really exists as a shrine to the ego of Sarah Jessica Parker. And they have a newish writer named Samantha Irby, and we're going to talk about her because it's important, okay? But, okay, on the podcast, the official companion podcast, they talked about the choice of that hat. It's worth noting Patricia Field, who was the original costume supervisor on the original Sex and the City and is a genius. She has nothing to do with the show. She's over at Emily in Paris, okay?
Okay.
Making people look fucking awesome. I don't know who's doing this, but if they're not fucking with Sarah Jessica Parker, they might be legally blind. Okay, listen to Michael Patrick King on the choice of this hat.
If you're
Oh,
going to
no.
wear a hat, that's the hat to wear.
Yes.
Eating sherbet. And why not? The beginning of this episode is all about Carrie making up her own rules and being an individual. She's not Mrs. Waiting for Aiden. She's kind of like going to go ahead. She's wearing the
She
hat.
thinks it's fun and fun.
It is
All
fun.
I know is
She's making her own rules.
Sure.
I mean, this woman's like 60 something, you know, like what is she rebelling against? You know, her insurance carrier denying her cover. What the fuck is she rebelling against? There's nothing to rebel against. Rebellion is for the young, okay? Rebellion is for the young. And you just have to let it go at a certain point. I mean, we're troublemakers and we are rebelling, but we're not rebelling by wearing hats like that. That hat which screams like, just pay attention to me at any given time. You know, when you see the pictures of Sarah Jessica Parker in that hat on set, like she's walking around like she's hot shit. She thinks she looks great. I mean, my God. Oh my God. She should get together with Hoda Kotb. They should do like a book club or something. They should do some sort of like manifesting event. Okay. Anyway, other disasters of note. There is a beautiful, beautiful actress on the show. Really, her character is given nothing to do. She doesn't exist but to be a token friend. Okay. They have woke has become tokenism, and tokenism is the exact thing that you would think woke is against. But you know, these are not geniuses running the show. So there's this beautiful actress named Nicole Ari Parker, and they've outfitted her character who goes by LTW. Like there are several scenes where she's wearing this enormous necklace that looks like dryer balls.
Oh no.
You know, it's like you couldn't even move your head one way or the other, this dress. And
Hideous.
these are the kind of encumbrances. Again, I think Michael Patrick King is a gay man who hates women, and that is
Of course he's a gay man who hates women. We've known that for decades, that Michael Patrick King is the quintessential misogynistic gay man. 1,000,000%. And that he doesn't know how to write dialogue for women. He knows how to write dialogue for characters that gay men think women talk like, if that makes sense. But we've known that forever, that all of those women on the show were stand-ins for gay male archetypes. You know, Samantha definitely. And the rest of them too, you know. But yeah, Michael Patrick King is a problem. This is one of the reasons why I haven't watched And Just Like That. First of all, because it's depressing. You know, I'd prefer to remember what I thought of Sex in the City when it first aired, when I was in the appropriate age range, and I really, really liked it. But no, he is Exhibit A of gay men who should not be allowed to write women's roles, because he has nothing but contempt for women, and he definitely has nothing but contempt for his characters.
is a type. That is a specific type, and you've got to watch out for it. Like he's making these women look like ridiculous. He's making Sarah Jessica Parker look like she belongs, like she needs to have a cognitive Joe Biden level evaluation, and he's marring the style and beauty of this other actress, you know, by dressing her up to look again ridiculous. And you know, her oh my God, her plot line in this, it's so stupid. She wants to do a documentary about unsung black sheroes that nobody's ever heard of, and she's having this.
Oh, for God's sake. Absolutely none of them. None of them. I'm sure that at some point there must have been a character that flounced across the set that I related to. Although I will say this, and this is very narrow, okay? So you guys don't take this and run with it. You can't extrapolate beyond what I'm saying. The only time that I related to any character on the show ever was when Sarah Jessica Parker chose or cast Mikhail Baryshnikov to be her love interest. That's when I identified with her, because I thought, bitch, if I were given executive producer credit on a show that I am starring in, and I am given free rein to pick any man at all, of every man walking the face of the earth, it's Mikhail Baryshnikov that I would pick. I would live out my Gen X fantasy. I would have him as my boyfriend. I would get rid of that stupid carriage ride shit. because I think that those horses in Central Park are abused, and I would not want to deal with that mess. But Mikhail Baryshnikov as your boyfriend, fuck yes. Who doesn't want to live out? Who doesn't want to feel the fantasy? Absolutely. But in no other respect did I relate to Carrie, because I actually was a journalist and I actually had to work hard for my money. I couldn't write some mangy column once a week and afford to live on the Upper West Side. You know what I mean? But there was that instance. That was it. The end.
Pitch meeting at like PBS or whatever, and they're like, yeah, that sounds great, but you need like a star, which is what really anybody would say, like, you need a star, can you get Michelle Obama? I think they could be teeing up a Michelle Obama cameo, and I would love this for her. I can only hope it's happening. I can only hope. Now Rosie O'Donnell appears. Now they don't talk about Rosie O in this podcast, and I wonder why, but Rosie O appears, and
I thought she moved to Ireland. I thought she ran away from Trump. I don't know, maybe she flew back.
Playing again, a hick. If you're not from New York, you're a fucking loser. What are you doing? Why are you living your life? Move to New York or die. So they're all making fun of her, not because she's a nun and a virgin in her 50s or 60s who comes to New York and has a one-night stand with Miranda. And we were all silently saying to ourselves, please do not show Cynthia Nixon and Rosie O'Donnell, two of New York City's most obnoxious lesbians in bed. But they did it. They showed it. Did. They fucking showed it. Okay. And, but the embarrassment wasn't that.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to say it, that Rosie O'Donnell had sex with Cynthia Nixon. Cynthia Nixon's the loser in this scenario. But it's that they depicted Rosie O'Donnell as a hick who wanted to take Miranda to do things like go on a carousel at Central Park.
Oh.
Or, this is a show that, by the way, put Sarah Jessica Parker in a fucking horse and buggy ride with the Russian in winter to show how romantic they were. And that's something I can assure you that no native New Yorker has ever been in one of those.
Yeah.
I refuse, not only just because it's a cliche. I think those horses are abused.
Oh,
and
so do I.
A huge crime.
So do I.
Animal rights crime. But no, so Rosie O'Donnell is like, she goes to see Wicked and she's wearing a Wicked shirt and t-shirt and she wants to meet Miranda in Times Square, and Carrie and Miranda are laughing about what a hick she is. Nice. Okay, now we're gonna get to the real crime here. Once you see this scene, you can't unsee it. And if you haven't seen this episode, I don't know whether I should advise you to watch it because it's so fucking wild and disturbing, or avert, abort. That's me talking to Jax Taylor at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Abort. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this for you. So we've had this story spun that this is a huge win for Carrie. Okay, that she so the way they talk about it is that Carrie knows that Aiden's coming back. Aiden's going to come back. That's why she's not delusional, thinking that they're in a loving, healthy relationship, even though he said, I'm not going to see or talk to you for 5 years. And don't go and be with anybody else.
T-Girl, if you're still here, you posted in chat earlier that the reason that they had to go no contact for 5 years was because his kid is 13 and he wants to wait until the kid is 18. Why? What difference would the kid's age make? If he's moving away anyway to Virginia and he's not going to be close to her, what does the kid turning 18 have to do with anything? I'm totally in the dark. I've watched exactly none of this show, so I don't know what's going on.
Don't have sex with anybody else. Don't go on a date with anybody else. Don't even so much as look at another man. It's like you're dating Bill Maher. Okay. And so they say that she was so secure in her knowledge that Aiden would never be able to resist Carrie for that long. Because really, we're talking about Sarah Jessica Parker, not Carrie Bradshaw. That Aiden would come back. He'd come running back, so enraptured by her youthful beauty.
Sure.
Just her whimsical young ways. So he cold calls her in the middle of the night. He wakes her up. And he's like, I want to have phone sex.
Oh, no.
And
saucy.
She's like, okay. That's a big win. That's what the kids used to call a booty call. Okay. He just wants to get his rocks off.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I miss you so much. He just wants to get his rocks off. Okay. So we are subjected to sites. we should never have seen this. And I don't understand why Sarah Jessica Parker went along with this. Is Michael Patrick King in her ear being like, this is so edgy and cool, and we're going to go viral, and people are going to love you for it. They're going to say you're braver than like, like who calls themselves brave? Like,
Yeah, a real feminist icon, all that horse shit. Yeah. Michael Patrick King is diabolical. Diabolical. I don't know why she trusts him so much. Absolutely not.
Actors go nude. They're like, oh, I was so brave. Okay. So she begins masturbating in her. We watch Carrie Bradshaw administer to herself while she's on the phone. And this is how old timey. When I said these women are old, I mean philosophically, technologically old. They're not in the real world with us. She's masturbating while holding her iPhone with her other hand to her ear. Like, most people, this would be a FaceTime with like a computer or like a phone, or she would just put it on speaker, or she would be like, wait, let me get my earbuds in. Okay. But okay. So that's one of, but again, and nobody wants to see Sarah Jessica Parker be sexual like this. And then we cut to Aiden, who is in a field in Virginia where he lives, in his pickup truck, in the cab of his pickup truck, and he prepares for this real, as again, Michael Patrick King is telling us, this really romantic scene by taking this is graphic, so if you have little ones around or you're not up for it, I'm just warning you now. He takes his hand like this, and we see him in a very slow, deliberate manner lick the entire length of his palm, and then shove his hands into his pants and clunkily begin attending to himself. And then he tells Carrie that he got so spooked because he accidentally hit his horn that he sharted.
Stop it.
And she laughs. And this is what has become of this show. Okay, look, but Michael Patrick King is going to tell us this is the height of romance. Okay, this is Heathcliff and Catherine. It's Wuthering Heights. It's Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. It's Scarlett and Rhett, and we all know how that one turned out. Okay, so let's listen to this brain trust.
Yeah, you can't just have sex. Yeah. You can't, not on this show. That's called pornography. We got to do something else. And this wasn't romance. This was sex. He was saying things like, touch yourself. Are you inside yourself? And it was places we had never gone with Carrie and Aiden.
Thank God.
Okay, they can say that all they want. I'm going to read some comments from New York Magazine's Vulture recap.
And not a single solitary soul asked for this, by the way. And listen, I think that we are all fully aware that the people who watch Sex and the City or this show are not a bunch of pearl-clutching prudes, okay? I think we all understand that. But there are bounds of reason. And I think that, again, Michael Patrick King, being the kind of individual that he is, yeah, he pushed his luck, okay? And apparently it went over like the proverbial lead balloon.
Of this episode. I chose these because this is a self-selecting group of hardcore Sex and the City fans, okay? And they are revolting. They are revolted, and they are revolting. The bleach I poured into my eyes trying to wash out the scene with Aiden in his truck.
Oh, boy.
Agreed. Number two, I also noticed that the more SJP is involved in this show, the less enjoyable it is. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Number three, I am convinced that Michael Patrick King hates women.
He does.
This episode proved my theory beyond the shadow of a doubt. He puts the three main characters through some ridiculous scenarios. These are Gen X women, right?
Right.
I hate watched 2 seasons of this. Kim Cattrall, we're going to get to her later too. It was wise to stay away from this nonsense. What a waste of space. Number 4, wholly unwatchable. Number 5, last one. I bet Kim Cattrall is laughing hysterically at her former castmates. She is schadenfreuding the shit out of this embarrassing show. I was a little bit more forceful in my choice of language there. Okay. Now I want to get to Samantha Irby really fast because she is now in the writer's room. This is a woman who has been touted to us as one of America's foremost humorists. Not so. I got one of her first collections of essays. I tried to get through it. I couldn't get through like a first chapter. It wasn't funny. But I have a suspicion that her identity might have something to do with it.
Of course.
And definitely I think it's something to do with why she's in the writer's room and Just Like That, and has been for the past 3 years. Samantha Irby was taking part in this most recent podcast that you and I were just listening to, okay? She's not exactly the Sex and the City demo. She's not, okay? Sex and the City For good or ill, it was about 4 very skinny, ambitious, attractive white women who were
Right.
just on the hunt for like the alpha male that they could just snag. Okay.
Yeah.
They were about money. They were about power. They weren't about causes. They weren't about the oppressed. They weren't, you know, if there
Never.
was a Black Lives Matter, you know, rally, Sarah Jessica Parker's character would have been using it as like a great time to go shopping because everyone's out in the streets. Right.
Right. Right.
And Samantha Irby is, by the way, I'm close friends with Roxane Gay, that humorless, insufferable feminist. The New York Times once gave an advice column to her. Okay. I wish they still had it because we'd be going to town all day long. Okay. Like Roseanne, Samantha Irby is a woman of color and a lesbian who goes out of her way, it seems, to look as unattractive as possible. Okay.
Right.
Samantha Irby gave us what I believe it was like. It was a botched abortion. Okay. It was and just like that episode in season 1, episode 5, where Carrie, recovering from her hip replacement. She's young and she's hip. You know, she had a hip replacement. She pees in her bed while Miranda is in Carrie's kitchen getting digitally violated by Shady. Okay.
What?
Elegance, aspirational.
What?
This new writer's room is befouling an already shaky legacy. Okay. And, you know, they're going to, I think this might be the last season for them because people are like, I can't even hate watch anymore. That was so off-putting. That was so off-putting and so gratuitous, unnecessary. Excuse me.
Okay, I have no idea what that meant, and I really hope that nobody explains it to me. I have no interest in exploring the mess that is that show. All right, I have one more video for everybody. A friend suggested it to me, and I thought it was great. We haven't watched Buck Angel in a very, very long time, but he tackles the question that so many are asking and that I have discussed on my channel more than once. What is going on with all of these celebrity kids identifying as trans? What is going on? And Buck and I come to the same conclusion. So, but I love Buck. He's adorable. So let's go ahead and watch this and then we'll wrap it up.
As the aunt of a proud trans man.
Mother, aunt,
My best friend's kid is trans.
best friend, kids,
Kid's best friend is trans.
best kid.
My wife and I, our lives are filled with the most amazing, beautiful, brave trans people, young and old, but especially young.
I have a trans daughter.
Now my child has changed gender.
Oh, boy.
Does that mean that previous child is now gone? Then once Kinley came through the door, I went, oh, yeah, it's my kid. It's the exact same kid.
There are threats against her life. Just her existence as a
Okay, I have something to say about Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis's public persona has become so abrasive and unpleasant over the past few years. She has become so defensive, so angry, and so combative that it is a real testament to what a fantastic acting job she did in The Last Showgirl, that I could take all of this bullshit and set it aside and watch her performance in that movie and wholeheartedly recommend it and say it is probably the greatest role of Jamie Lee Curtis's life. She was that good. She disappeared that much into her role, and she had such wonderful chemistry with Pamela Anderson. But her public persona has been so unpleasant, such a huge turnoff over the past few years. And honestly, when I see this fucking mess with this kid, I feel so sorry for Christopher Guest. I really, really do. I can't even imagine what he must be thinking. And I noticed that Christopher Guest is not as out and as strident as she is. I noticed that he's always been a very shy individual. He kind of stays in the background, and thank God he hasn't enmeshed himself in this shit show with this person, this son that decided to become a daughter. But let's continue.
human being. There are people that want to annihilate her and people like her. The level of hatred, as if we haven't learned from fascism, like we haven't
You'll be
learned
fine, Jamie Lee.
what the result of that is.
It's his life and it's his body, and he knows what's right for him, and I shouldn't be, trying to delay him or stop him. I should follow his lead, and that's what I did, and that's what we've been doing ever since, and I have to say it's worked out really wonderfully.
I would hope that people would
Not Annette
find
Bening,
someone in their
too.
lives who's a trans person, and there might be someone that they don't know who works at the grocery store, or their doctor, or their teacher, or I don't know, it's just their post office worker, someone in their lives.
Annette Bening. Now, this one came as a surprise to me. Has Warren Beatty said anything? Is Warren Beatty still alive? Is he still around? Okay. Let's keep going.
Who is just like they are.
Why?
They happen to be trans. And if you're even luckier, you have someone in your family.
Yeah.
Because then you really do understand that we don't have to judge. We have to love and understand.
Jamie Lee Curtis has a voice, and she's trying to use it, and you should too. And that's how we change.
Oh, I
No, Jamie Lee, you're not going to change anything because you're so fucking angry. You are like the angriest person involved in defending the trans community. You're so strident and so like always ready to explode. Like the muscles in your neck are so tight. And you're not going to convince anybody with this aggressive posture. I'm sorry, but I don't know if you figured this out, but the country has moved on. So, no, madam.
I don't know if you all see what I see. I think you do. There is just something not right with this. Look, I don't care if you have a trans kid or a gay kid or whatever, but
Right.
whatever you have, whatever your kid is, right? But there just seems to be this huge amount of celebrities with trans kids.
Correct.
And some of the stuff they say just feels like it's an agenda.
Yep.
Like Hollywood is in on it. Like they're pushing this idea that having a trans kid is the coolest thing in the world. Why would you do that? Because this isn't cool and it isn't awesome. And if you are, yeah, you are. And then we'll figure out how to deal with it. Most normal trans people, transsexual people, don't want you to know they're trans.
That's exactly. Thank you, Buck. And T-Girl, I saw what you wrote, and I'm going to try to get Buck back on because I really enjoyed the conversation that I had with him. It was great. I love Buck. I think Buck is very normal. And you can tell that Buck was socialized as a woman growing up because he's not, he doesn't have that aggressive approach, like accept me or else approach that this new generation of transgender people have. The male to female, in other words. And even that's a misnomer because they'll never be female. So, but yeah, I love Buck Angel and Blair White, and I like the ones who are realistic. I like the ones who don't come out and say, I'm a woman, I'm as much of a woman as a natal woman. No, you're not. Same thing with Buck. But yeah, Buck is great. Buck is great. And he just said something very true. Most transgender people do not want you to know that they're trans. They just want to be able to pass. They want to be able to blend in with everyone. They want to be treated like normal people. Not, stand on a podium and, get on high horses and try to bully people or convert people's way of thinking by force.
Do you not understand this, people? They don't want you to know. So yeah, you might be going to the grocery store and you might be seeing the cashier at the grocery store or the person working. They might be trans, but why do you need to know that? Why do you even need to know that? Why can't you just know them as Tommy or Susie or Sally or whatever? Why do you need to know that they're trans? It's like saying you need to know they're gay. You don't need to know any of that. You actually just need to know that they're a person. So this is why I wanted to do this video today, because I have noticed more and more. It seems like every day a new celebrity comes out with a trans or non-binary queer kid.
Yep.
So before I move forward, thanks so much for liking, subscribing, helping this channel grow, like supporting it as I get, you know, kind of a little bit, something's going on here, but I'm tired of talking about it. I don't want to talk about it. I just want to keep going and getting this out there to all of you. So thank you for helping me. So I posted this question yesterday or the day before on X, okay? And question, when coming out as gay was new and accepted, were there a lot of celebrities talking about their gay child?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No, there were not. There were not. And as a matter of fact, a lot of my gay friends were sitting around waiting for, you know, celebrities to take more. I mean, even a lot of celebrities didn't want to come out as gay. Elton John didn't come out as gay right away. You know? There were a lot of celebrities who stayed in the closet well past the point that they needed to. You know, there's still celebrities who are in the closet today who won't come out because they're still afraid that it's going to harm their career. And we could mention some names. Allegedly. Allegedly, we all know. These celebrities that we strongly suspect of being gay who are now in a position where they're widowed, they're divorced, whatever, and they can certainly, you know, self-actualize, but they're not doing it for whatever reason. So, no, absolutely not. There were not a lot of celebrities coming forward.
When I mean child, I mean kid. You know, I don't mean they need to be under 18 because they're still your kid, even if they're 50, right? So I don't necessarily mean that they're like underage. I mean, because, you know, most kids don't come out as gay until, you know, they're like 17, 18, 20, whatever, not 5. So this is a real question because I do not remember many. I don't. But now when they have a trans kid, it seems to be a big deal.
Exactly.
And then thanks for the comment, right? And so it's really an important question, I think, because I don't remember celebrities saying, "Woohoo, I have a gay kid," the way they're saying, "Woohoo, I have a trans kid." And I don't think people are really understanding how this really says to me that there is an agenda attached to being trans.
There is.
And that there's this whole idea that having a trans kid is cool, where I don't think people were as accepting back in the day of having a gay kid. And they didn't talk about having a gay kid.
Nope.
And as I was doing this research, I started seeing like they're lumping gay kids in with trans now.
That's right.
It is actually absurd and gross and wrong. So just so you know out there, they are not separating gay from trans. Now, if you have a gay kid, somehow that becomes a queer kid.
Right.
And somehow that becomes into the trans umbrella. This is dangerous behavior.
Agreed.
Because they aren't the same thing. So I found this video where it talks about 25 is a lot of celebrities, and it's more now. There's more than 25. There's so many of them. It's crazy. Robert De Niro just came out.
And it's so outside the realm of statistical probability, too. Do I believe that all these young people are transgender? Absolutely not. I think that if they had been allowed to age normally, and that this trans thing was not a social contagion, I think that they just would have been gay, or they would have grown out of it. The girls would have been tomboys for a while and then moved on, or they would have come out as lesbians, or the boys would have been gay, and that would have been the end of that story, but they wouldn't claim to be transgender. No, the fact that so many of them are identifying as transgender is a sign of the times, nothing more.
I think her name is Tia Carrera. She's one of the stars of the Lilo Stillo, whatever it's called, movie that just came out.
Tia
I don't know,
Carrera?
it's a kid movie. But you know what I mean. Her kid just came out as trans.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Like every day a new celebrity comes out with a trans kid. So I found this video, and then I'm going to show you right here how they name 25 stars. In some of these, like I think Marie Osmond and Barbara Streisand, those aren't trans kids. They have gay kids.
Barbara Streisand's kid is not transgender. No, he's gay. We've known this for years. Not transgender. Just a garden variety, very boring gay man. That's all. And I don't know anything about Marie Osmond.
Not trans kids. So why are they lumping them in with the trans? label. It's actually really upsetting to me. So I'm going to show you this real quick. I'm going to cut it. I'm just going to show you the 25 here.
Here are 25 Hollywood stars with transgender children. 1, Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony. 2,
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt. 3rd,
No, that's not correct. That's not correct. Unless they are categorizing Shiloh as transgender. No, Shiloh went through a phase where she was a very, very big tomboy. She changed her name. She only wore boys' clothes and short hair. And then she grew up and she started wearing dresses and modeling and leaned into her girlhood. But no, Shiloh Jolie Pitt was never transgender. And this is one of the things that I respect about Angelina Jolie. She never came out and declared that her daughter was transgender. She just let her daughter dress, act, speak, move as she pleased. And she grew out of it, and that's it. So good for them.
Cher. 4, Jamie Lee Curtis. 5, Mark Ruffalo and Sunrise Coyne. 6, Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union. 7, Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck. 8, Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid.
9, Charlize Theron. Gishanti Marlon Wayans. 11th, Cynthia Nixon. 12th, Colin Mockery. 13, Belinda Carlisle.
Belinda Carlisle.
15, 16, David Tennant. 17, Annette O'Toole.
Annette O'Toole.
18, Warren Beatty and Annette Bening. 19, The Quiet
Sade.
Strength of Sade. 20, Rebecca Robertson. 21st, Alexis Bellino. 22nd, Kate
I don't know who
Bornstein.
these people are.
Cecilia Ponce.
No idea.
Marcia Gay Harden.
Really?
Linda Diogti Vendicarina.
So that was another one I just remembered right now was Angelina Jolie. Her kid is not trans.
No, not
it was
at
like
all.
just one of those tomboyish girls. I don't think that kid was ever trans nor called themselves trans.
Never.
In my opinion and from what I can remember. But there they are, right? All of a sudden that kid is trans. And that kid is now a girl who's totally happy to be a girl. So I think there is something going on in Hollywood. That's very upsetting to me. And then we have that wingnut Jamie Lee Curtis who's so angry.
Always angry.
Her daughter is being attacked and fascism is coming at the trans community. The wingnutty stuff that lady says is so crazy. She's like so
crazy.
angry. And like, I'm going to protect trans people. Really? Well, where were you 25 years ago when we were fighting for this? Now that your daughter is trans, you're going to gnaw off everybody's leg who isn't cool with your daughter, who, by the way, had a cosplay wedding. That's a whole other video
That's
I
a
should
whole
do. When
other
I was
story.
researching this, I couldn't even believe it. That Jamie Lee Curtis's daughter got married to a girl, but I can't tell if it's a trans woman. And then next thing you know, they had a literal cosplay wedding where they were in costumes. They were in.
That wedding was a complete freak show. And Jamie Lee Curtis's son, daughter, whatever, is such a weirdo. I mean, like a legitimate weirdo. And like I said, I feel so sorry for Christopher Guest. I really do. I don't think that he wants any part of this nonsense.
Actually, like anime costumes having a wedding. Oh my God, I just can't. I just can't. These people have lost their minds. So, hold on. I have this other great video I wanted to bring up here. We all know this Cynthia Nixon. She tends to be the most outspoken with Jamie Lee Curtis. They're like the two most outspoken members of this celebrity status who just like obsessed with their trans kids. But I want you to hear this. This is actually really crazy. Listen to this.
Mother of a proud trans man. I am here today as the aunt of a proud trans man.
Sure.
Mother, aunt,
My best friend's kid is trans.
best friend, kids,
Kid's best friend is trans.
Yep.
My wife and I, our lives are filled with the most amazing, beautiful, brave trans people, young and old, but especially young.
Okay, so that statement that she made, I remember when she made it, and I remember being so taken aback by it because I thought, what more proof do you need that either all the kids in this circle are victims of a social contagion or Transhausen by proxy by their parents, or both. And that is a real tragedy. Because again, this is outside the realm of statistical probability. It is ludicrous.
Okay, enough. But especially young. Her
Right.
kid, she's a niece to, then her friend of a friend has a trans kid, then that kid has a trans kid, but mostly we're surrounded by trans kids.
Right.
And they're lesbians. You can't write this stuff. It's actually scary.
It is scary.
It is so scary. The list goes on. I'm highlighting those two because they're the most wingnutty, but literally 25 that I showed you there, 25 supposedly celebrities
And
that
that's
have
not the entire
trans kids,
list.
and it keeps growing and growing
Yep.
and growing and growing, and it's shocking and scary. So here's the thing that I want to bring up. Look, first off, I don't care if you have a trans kid. Good for you. Whatever you need to do with yourself. But why are you putting it out in the world like that? That's the part that why I'm doing this video, because I find it disturbing.
Because having a trans kid in Hollywood is a status symbol. It's a status symbol. I've discussed this on a number of other occasions. You know, it's like what adopting a Chinese female baby in the 90s was, or adopting an African kid later, after Madonna made that trendy. It's trendy. It's trendy. It's showing that you're part of the inner circle, the in crowd. Imagine using children as status symbols. It is so disgusting.
I find it sort of an ideological space, to be honest with you. Why are you lumping in gay kids with trans kids?
Good question.
Because some of these celebrities that you're posting about, they don't have trans kids. They have gay kids.
Correct.
Okay? Anne Rice has a gay kid. Barbara Streisand has a gay kid.
Yep.
There's a couple others in there. Marie Osmond has a gay kid. And now you're calling them queer and trans when that's just not true. So this last video I want to bring up here is Andrew Gold, who I love. I've been on his show.
Andrew
He's
Gold.
awesome. He did an interview with, I think his name is Malcolm Clark, who is a
Who's
filmmaker
wonderful.
and also pushes back against the ideological space of trans. This guy makes amazing points right here. So let me bring this up.
Celebrity actors in particular, the problem is that they spend their entire lives reading other people's scripts. That's why they suddenly come up with, some cause, whether it's the environment or gay rights. It's a look at us, we're better than you. Most of them are as dumb as can be.
It really is quite a low percentage of people who are trans. I mean, it's really small, but in the celebrity world, it's extraordinary. Charlize Theron's kids, Cher's kids, Cynthia Nixon, Sting. There was a huge...
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Oh, yes, Sting. I forgot about him.
Is a fool. She's one of these celebrities who stands up and says, my children are at risk. They're going to be killed. That's why I feel I now have to showcase myself. I mean, there's never been a social justice movement in history that said, if you don't give our rights, we're going to jump into the river and... Hey, that's a really pathetic argument. Amputated breasts in a plastic bag with fake blood. To have a really popular, multi-award-winning show like Drag Race push that on mainstream TV is just appalling.
Yeah, he's talking about a runway episode of Drag Race where one of the drag queens came out topless with makeup on that looked like scars, like breast removal scars, with fake hands on either side that were looked like they were holding razor blades that had cut the breasts off. It is one of the most disgusting, revolting displays I have ever seen. It was so nasty that I said, I will never watch the show again and I will never support it again. It was absolutely vile. So that's what he's talking about. I don't remember which season it was.
It's almost tailor-made to be making the argument that homophobes used to make, which is that there's an agenda here.
Yeah.
It's really, this guy makes all the points right there. You know, Drag Race, it's a great show. I think it was. I don't watch it. I have a lot of drag queen friends who are adults, do the adult space. But some of the stuff that's been happening, it is a little bit intense, and I'm not sure. And so I remember back in the day when RuPaul, it was all about drag queens. It wasn't about trans. I think that it literally changed into being trans because it's the cool thing. And a lot of those drag queens are now trans, which how are you a drag queen if you're trans?
Exactly.
That's a whole other video I should do, actually. Drag queens that are trans. Then you're not a drag queen. I'm not in drag. It's actually insulting. I don't walk around in drag, whether or not you want to believe it or not. I don't feel like this way. This does not come off. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's something else that started to get on my nerves when all these drag queens started identifying as transgender and claiming that they were women. I mean, there was Adore Delano, who's had all the surgery done on her face. And I don't know if she's had the bottom surgery yet, but, you know, I think it was Gia Gunn and Laganja Estranja. And it's like, no, you're men dressing up as women. You're male. Stop trying to make yourselves into... You're not transgender. You're just drag queens. And what is wrong with that? You identify as women? No, you perform as women. You are performers. Performers. And no matter what you do, no matter how many surgeries you go through, you will never be women. You will never be women. You will never be female. You are female impersonators. That is what drag queens are. So let's continue.
Okay, it's actually who and what I am. When you're a drag queen, you're a man becoming a woman or a woman becoming a man through makeup and artistry. And it's an illusion. That's why they called it female impersonator or illusion, right? It's an illusion. But if you're transitioning, it's no longer an illusion.
Exactly.
So these kind of platforms are really platforming this idea. And I think what he was talking about, there was this one trans person who was in drag and because it's a female to male, and then he put on drag to become back to female, and then he had a costume where he had chop surgery and he had these knives and it was
That's
cutting
what I was just talking
his breasts off, and he had scars, and I'm like, whoa, that is actually intense, and people got pissed about it.
I was furious.
It's promoting top surgery, and oh man, it's just, I don't know.
No, it is glorifying and promoting mutilation is what it's doing. That's the problem. It was a very graphic depiction of breast removal. Very brutal, very ugly. And it was not transgressive. It was not daring or bold or anything. It was disgusting. It was literally promoting physical mutilation of women. Vile.
What's going on with the Hollywood? I don't know why so many of these people feel the need to out their children, and are their children going to get mad in the long run? Are most of these kids going to grow out of being trans? Remember, they're showing it as an identity. And why are you so obsessed with showing your trans kid? Why? I really want to know. And so just before I go, I want to tell you that some of the comments on my ex when I posted that were really interesting comments. And you're more than welcome to comment here about it, what you feel about it as well, because I think it's an important, I do think it's important to talk about that. So some of the comments I got were basically, no, I don't remember it. I don't recall that. And then people were saying, the statistics tell me that the number of trans children that are born to celebrities seems to be extraordinarily high than what the averages would suggest.
Yep.
Right? And now they're saying like 1.5 million people identify as trans in the United States. And I'm going to keep saying it. This is not an identity choice. These kids are identifying as trans. They want to be trans. And that was the real big problem when they took it out of being a disorder and made it into an identity. And now it's become a thing that is cool and hip. And I have a trans kid, and every week a new celebrity comes out with their new trans kid. And it's disturbing on many levels for me. So I'd love to hear your comments about it. I'd love to hear what you think about it. The more we discuss these things, I think the more we start to come back to some reality-based space. And you watch in 5 years, they won't have trans kids anymore. They'll have some other kind of kid. Okay.
Right.
So keep the private stuff to yourself, man. We don't need to know about you transitioning your children. And a lot of these kids are adults. And again, I'm totally okay with adults doing what they need to do. What
Me
I
too.
think is weird is that they're celebrating this as if it's like this cool thing to have a trans kid, and why aren't they ever doing that with their gay kids? Okay, so have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for liking, subscribing. I appreciate you all supporting the channel. It means a lot to me, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Don't forget, lives on Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time. Okay, have a great rest of your day.
I adore this guy.
With the most
and
amazing,
I am
beautiful, brave, trans people, young.
All right, let me share Buck's channel. And I hope that all of you go subscribe to him, because he's so sane, and he's been around for so long. And he has gotten so roundly abused by this new generation of so-called trans activists. Buck is wonderful. And so everybody go support him. We adore him. We need more sane individuals who have been around since the year one, you know, these pioneers of the trans community. And I think that, you know, the way that Buck has been treated, the way that Fred Sargent has been treated is absolutely vile and disgusting. I mean, I know that the younger generation always thinks that they know more than we do, but that's no excuse for treating people like shit. You know, the people who paved the way for you. So, anyway. All right, you guys. Wait a minute. So, I would appreciate it if you're not subscribed to my channel already. If you would drop me a sub, that would be very, very cool. Do consider becoming a member. And that's it for me. It's been 2 hours and 19 minutes. You know, I was going to play the new Wicked trailer, but it's just going to get my channel dinged. And then I'm going to have to go through the whole rigmarole of, you know, muting the music and the sound of the trailer. So what's the point of playing the fucking trailer if you can't hear the music and the sound? So everybody go. As a matter of fact, hang on. Let me link to the Wicked trailer. And you all can enjoy it for yourselves. It really is a beautiful trailer. I swear to God, those flying monkeys are so, so well done. So, hang on. Here is the Wicked trailer. Enjoy yourselves. The movie is going to be great. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. And I will see you guys, I hope soon, if I can dig up some more topics. So I'll see y'all later. Thanks, guys.